Namaste, magnificent manifest being. Welcome to your sanctuary, your place to be. I am OMniREADY, your guide. I don't manifest for TV. Namaste, magnificent being. Are you ready to transcend? Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Yes, definitely. And it is a beautiful show today with a powerful message on how powerful you are and how you can conquer even the worst addiction. So go ahead, dear Aurora, speak about you, introduce yourself to Manifest for TV viewers and audience. And please say what you've been through.
It's 111.
Oh, wow. Synchronicity gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So let me put the camera on. I don't know why I didn't put my camera on. Oh, it's because I didn't open the camera little thing. People are like, what is she doing? Yes, guys, look, I'm the one who producing everything here. Just be patient, okay? Be patient with OMniREADY. She is always prepared. It's been a while I didn't go live because...
it's not easy, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's not like that, like, smooth. It's not a click of one click and then everything just, like, goes to its place, you know? Like, the setup and everything for podcasting, going live, streaming, it's very difficult. Like, you have to be very organized, like,
extremely,
all
yes.
day long. So
yes.
Understandable, yeah.
That's what I
know
do.
how hard that is.
That's what I do. I am a producer. I learned how to produce a TV show. So when you know how to produce a TV show in a big studio, you know how to produce a TV show at home. But in a studio, at least I had a crew. I had a crew for my light. I had a crew for my audio. I had a crew for... So now doing everything by myself empowered me because now I can do everything by myself. But still, it demands that I have to do everything by myself. But I don't complain. My mind is good. Yes, I did send the coin drop, guys. So have fun sharing. And the more you share, the more you receive. I did do a coin drop. It's already sent to you. The coin drop is there. They're asking me for coin drop because they like to share the live show while they're receiving coins at the end. After 300 share, they're receiving 333 coins that they can keep for themselves, and then they can do whatever they want with it. So there you go. Yes, that's how you stimulate the audience. So go ahead. Your name is, and what have you been through?
Yeah, so today is June 18th, and then it's a very, very, very significant day. June 18th, 2013 is actually like my real recovery date because that's the moment that I woke up and didn't have to feel sick and do what I had to do. The very first day ever in 12 years. So I was using pretty hard for 12 years. And it was crazy because, okay, I smoked weed since I was like 10. That was nothing. It was just like a social thing. Drinking was a social thing. But when that other shit hit me, you know, the more crystal-y shit, it was like, so it was a Monday. And I tried it for the first time. And then the next day, Tuesday, I ditched school. And then Wednesday, I conned my mom for a check for my choir so I can go ahead and drop it on 8-ball. And on Thursday, I was already selling it. And by Friday, I stopped coming home. It happened in like a whole week, just like 1 week.
And may I ask you, what is your Earth age? How long have you been on Earth?
I'm 34.
Wow, so 34. You started at 20, 27, 26?
I started when I was 15.
Oh, so how come you say 8 years then? Oh yeah, because you stopped for 8 years. You started at 15 with meth?
Yeah, I did.
So can you explain me, because I never took drug because I saw my brother almost dying in my arm. He was taking cocaine. He was putting syringe in his arm, in his leg, whatever he could put it in. And one day he basically overdosed, and he was in my arm. He was becoming white and he was shaking, and he was dying in my arm. And I asked the universe, I said, please do not take his life. Take mine instead. I give my life for him to stay alive. And he's alive now. And the universe kept my life.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know what's happened with the universe. Maybe because I was generously giving my life for his. My brother is still alive, is out of cocaine, but he didn't get rid of what make him take cocaine, because I believe people don't just take
The
drug.
demons, yeah.
There is something that make you take that drug. Him was because he could not save me from the child abuse that I was experiencing from the age of 6. I was being abused by the father of my sister, and he was bringing co-workers, and they were police officers. So police officer was abusing me every day, every night. And one day he took the gun of one of the police officer, which was the father of my sister, and while he was sleeping he put it to his face. And the father of my sister opened his eyes. He saw him, and he was only, because we 8 years different, he was maybe 14, and I was little. I was 6. And he put the gun in his face, but he couldn't shoot because he was a young teenager. I mean, 14, you're still a child. And but the father of my sister got scared though, because he was like, oh, if he can take the gun and feel that he can do that, maybe I should be careful. You understand?
Yeah.
So he will do it one day, and all of that opened the door for me to not get touched as much. He was still abusing me, but my brother started to fall into that cocaine, and then the abuse went higher. And he felt bad that he did not save me from his hand. And I told him, it's not your fault, you were a child. But he's still carrying that guilt, that shame, that blame. And that's why I know people don't take drug just because of they want to take drug. They take drugs because of pain that they have endured or seen or experienced. So what made you take that drug?
And I think too, it has a lot to do with our ancestral waters, because there's probably, for me, and I still feel to this day, because I can't even pinpoint any type of pain that brought me there. Like, it wasn't enough, maybe in my eyes, but like, it wasn't enough pain to bring me there like that. Like, I was a silver spoon child. I got everything I wanted. I went on vacations with my family every single year. We were like I guess we were a poster company, a poster child, like kind of family. You know what I mean? Like, we were good on the outside. We went to church. Like, really, we still had a religion in our family. Like, now we just gone our separate ways now. But I mean, when it comes to religion and spirituality, but back then it was like routine, and it was just it was fake, basically. But we didn't. I guess you can say, like, there wasn't any type of like family secret or anything. We just like were miserable people, like, you know, that pretended to be happy, I guess.
Okay.
But like on the outside, like physically, I was never homeless as a child. I never needed. I always had what I wanted and needed. So I couldn't tell you. The only thing that I felt like that took me there was that I was running towards it. Like, I wasn't running from anything. I was running to that. Out of, I don't know. Like you said, it was probably something in me that was, I don't know how it got there, because I was only 15, you know, but I can't help but just discern that it's something to do with a past, it's like a lingering pain that I didn't necessarily have to experience it in this life completely, but it was going to be felt, you know. I wasn't meant to feel all that pain that I felt.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you please tell me, honestly, if it's too deep, what the question that I'm going to ask, you have the right to say, I will prefer to not reply to that question, okay? Do you feel you were loved by your parents? I can feel it right there.
No.
Exactly. So let me tell you something. It has been proven
Not the kind of love that I know
that
should
you
be
want it.
defining it as.
Exactly. So
Yeah, no.
this is the situation. They have proven scientifically, because I like to bring science and spirituality together, like that people don't fight, say, well, no, that's not true. No,
Yes.
it's in science and spirituality. They have tested on babies many times. You know, they have made experiments in World War II, even before World War II.
Yeah.
They have tested on human beings to be able to understand child trauma. And some people talk about child trauma, you know, sexual abuse, beating, bullying, belittling, you know, like all the physical aspect that people can say, oh, okay, she has been enduring pain. But people don't focus enough on the mental aspect of how a child,
Right.
even if you've been giving everything, like you've been giving everything, that they miss something that is primordial. So they took babies. They had one baby where they gave that baby everything, the food, the toys, but no touch and no love. And then the other one, they gave him less food, but the total attention and careness and touch and hugging and love. The one that had less food and tension with love and caring and touch, because touch is extremely important, was more healthy than the one that was giving everything.
Absolutely.
So your pain is related to the fact that, yes, you might have everything materially, but you didn't receive everything spiritually, as the touch and the love from your parents. And that's why you went to this. Now, how did you felt when you were taking it? Like the first experience, how was it? Please explain.
Oh my god, it was like, well, because I told you I had already smoked weed by this time, so I was somewhat of a pothead, and then I just switched it up. I stopped smoking weed and I just switched up to just that and only that. I didn't even drink anymore. And what happened was that on that first hit, it's that part where people say that they chase until they end up quitting or until they end up getting to rock bottom. It's that first time that they always chase because they can never have it again. It's never the same, which is true. Obviously, you're trying it for the first time, but it wasn't more so like I remember the body high and I remember the mental high, but it was more so like the feeling sense of home. It was weird because of the acceptance that I was feeling from the crowd.
Yes.
That I was around. And it was like an instant gratification. It was instant acceptance, instant gratification because I had all the drugs. And so I masked that to gain, wanted to get out of it, and it became what it became.
Okay. And when you were feeling the body high, how does that felt, the body high?
Like super, like I don't know, like obviously energetic. I was like really sweaty. I sweat hard to begin with normally.
Me too.
Like, extremely worse.
Me too.
Extremely worse. Yes. And so I look like a super blow it. Like when I'm high, like you can tell, like it's like I look like a mess. You know, you couldn't take me anywhere. But like when I'm normal, I'm normal. Like when I still went to school, I started when I was 15, so I didn't drop out of school until I was 16.
Okay.
But and even in school, I still could like somewhat like hide it, I guess, like based off of like my looks. But when I was like high, like if I was on it, not just like abusing it, like here and there, but if I was like on it, you could tell it was disgusting.
And how do you utilize it? Like, what did you have to do? Like, is it like syringe or smelling or?
No, I never stuck a needle in my arm, and I don't like snorting it.
So how was it? It was powder?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you smoke it. You smoke it too.
Oh, you smoke it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is that type of high, like close to marijuana, but not, because marijuana is natural. So, I mean, it's not a different. It's a different drug, even categorized in the government. It's a different drug. Thank you for sharing.
It's completely different.
Yes, it's completely different. It has different purposes. I did analyze and research on drug, And I believe that there are drugs that are here to assist you, but the manufacturer drug are here to destroy you. And that's what they want to do. They want to replace the natural shaman, ancient way of us, because we used to take that naturally, you know, the ayahuasca, all those elixir from the earth, and they took it and they put chemical in it and gave it to people, and that's why they are addicted. While when you take marijuana, you don't get that addiction. When you take ayahuasca, you don't take that addiction. All of those are natural medicine in my perspective. Somebody asked me if I like to broadcast. Yes, I do like to broadcast. I adore broadcasting. That's leisure for me, because I release negative frequency by sharing positive frequency. So thank you for your question. Netflix or nightclub? I don't do nightclub anymore. That's an interesting question. And Netflix, I don't really support them because this is the grandson of a nefarious being that like pedophilia, advocate for pedophilia.
Yeah.
So I do not support Netflix. Like that, everybody know. Thank you for your like. I appreciate that. Yes, they're asking a lot of questions on the other live, so I will answer. If there is a question for you, I will let you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. So it's been 8 years. How did you start your process of stopping this?
I was stopped. And I just had to I was faced with a decision. And it was like forced onto me because I didn't, like, left to my own self, I can't make a decision by myself. Or if I did, it wouldn't be for permanent. Like, I wouldn't try to stop completely, you know? Put like this, I couldn't even stop when I was pregnant, and I have 4 kids.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that you had 4 children. That is beautiful.
Yeah,
You were able to have 4 children under that. How did you do it?
For my first one, I probably was pregnant for maybe like barely the first month or 2, and then I stopped because I was scared. I was 17 years old.
Wow.
I was scared. I know all the decisions that I was making was very poor, but I had enough sense in my brain at 17 to know that if I keep on doing drugs or like keep on smoking cigarettes or whatever, keep on drinking alcohol, that I've seen that this can actually harm the baby. Like, I was smart enough to even care at that moment, you know?
Of course, yes.
And so I stopped. I went back home. I had left home for 3 months. This is what I do. In my teenage years, I was a runaway, so I would just have these binge party moments where I wouldn't come home for like up to 3 months. And like, my parents told the local police department that they already believed that I had been trafficked already, that I wasn't going to come home. And so, so I came home pregnant, and like, I just knew, I just had a very strong intuitive feeling that I should probably go home. I should probably not sleep on the streets again tonight. Like, you know, I'm 17 sleeping in the street. Like, when I have a nice home with my own room, and like, it was weird. I couldn't put 2 and 2 together, you know? And I came home pregnant, like the worst thing possible for a Filipino girl to come home pregnant after
it happened to me too.
Been a whole druggie my whole life, or my whole high school life.
It happened to me too, but me, I was raped, so it was a different story. But I came home pregnant too, yes.
Yeah. So my mom found out I was pregnant because at this time of my teenage years, there was a routine. If I wanted to come back home, or if they were going to put up with my shit, I would have to test on a regular basis. So like, my mom had a whole bunch of like at-home drug tests, like just ready for me whenever I came home. It was weird. Like, the level of pain that I had put my family through, like, they tried to, like, you know, I guess I can say that, like, for them to watch a family member just fucking crash or just go downhill and they couldn't do anything about it, that must have been really tough.
I'm sure I will not want to watch. I will not want to watch my children going through this. So that's why with my children, I told them everything. I told them everything. I teach them about all the drug, and then my daughter's looking at me, and they are the one telling me, "Mommy, why do you take this? Mommy, why do you drink that?" So it's beautiful. When you tell them the truth, then they know better, and then they are guided better to not do it. Exactly. Because they know the impact. Yesterday, I was watching a very painful, I cried while I was watching it, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. I'm gonna do this right now on YouTube. And I'm gonna tell you the name because I know you like to research and you like to know more about everything because you have your new show that I really like. I like to come and listen to your new show. So let's go to eStory. So I am live on YouTube, but I don't know why they didn't put on Facebook, probably because they don't want me live there. They just blocked me recently hugely on Facebook. They're telling me that all my posts are banned. All my posts cannot be seen. Oh yes, and then on on Instagram, I am not allowed to comment, not allowed to like, not allowed to follow, not allowed to share, not allowed to do anything. And when I post something, I'm not allowed to put the description of my content. So I did contacted them legally and tell them that it is illegal, that I am under specific law per my production show, but they don't reply. Of course, they just say thank you for your report, but they don't reply. But it's okay. It is known and it is recorded. So we are live on YouTube, people. So if you want to see on YouTube, you can go if you want to see on the screen what I'm sharing. So the video that I watched yesterday, let me click on my history, see all. It was very painful. So people, only if you have strong gut, go and watch it. It's called The Zombie of Nairobi. The Zombie of Nairobi. And this documentary is being made by fan page it. So fan page FANPAGE .it. And this is the channel you can go and look at. This is just posted. It was posted May 10, no, not just posted, excuse me. May 10, because I thought it was this year, but it's May 10, 2016. And it's called Zombies of Nairobi. And you can see children from the age of 6 taking drugs, not like the drug that you took. They inhale glue. You know the glue that they use when you go and fix your shoes? Zombies of Nairobi. Nairobi, NAIROBI. It was so painful to watch it because it's still happening as we speak right now. They're letting the government basically, they don't handle it. They just send the police and say, oh, we're going to arrest the people that are selling the drug. But when the police come to the people that are fixing shoes, meanwhile, they're fixing shoes, they are the one that have the kid coming and asking for glue. They pay for maybe $1 for a plastic bottle and there is glue inside. And they smell that glue constantly all day. Their brain, their neuron, everything get damaged, their body, and you see the condition that they are in. And it's extremely painful to watch this. Extremely painful to watch this. So only watch it if you can handle it, because I cried. So if I cry as a powerful being, I can imagine other people feeling extremely hurt inside, because you watching children hurting and killing themselves live, basically. And nobody's doing anything about it, because when the police come to arrest the so-called people that are selling it, the police actually ask for money. They get the money, and then they left the person that sell the drug to the kid. And then there is also another drug that they inhale that is more powerful than the other one. They get kerosene, you know, like the gas that they put in plane. So people go to the airport and they get that from the airport, and then they bring it back to those community with young children. And the children smell this, and they smell in it more than 100 times per day, because the drug and the high only lasts for a few minutes. But you can see when they inhale it, they become zombies. So go and watch it. And oh yes, it's powerful. And it's 19 minutes, so it's not that long. Somebody said, they got me on the virtual jail, been there a few times. Yes, Yuri. Yes, that's called a virtual jail, but it's okay. You know, like I said, thank you, Yuri, for telling me that sometimes I'm pushing too much as a bull. But I don't think I've been pushing too much. Did you think that my posts, sincerely, on Instagram are pushing? Do you think that I'm okay? So why?
With 100% confidence, I can say no.
I mean, yes, it's true that my description is. I think so. Well,
It's a specific, yeah.
I don't think it's hating.
Somebody reported it.
I think they're afraid.
I think somebody reported it. Yeah.
I think they're afraid.
Oh, yeah.
They're really afraid because
Of
my
course.
content and then what I'm sharing in the description, talking about the human rights, talking about the power of your
Yeah.
body, talking about all the elixir that I take to keep myself in great frequency. So
Exactly.
I've been
and
nice.
How everything is energy.
Everything is energy,
You know?
Exactly. So
even the way that you're typing.
yes,
And the symbolism in your lettering.
yes,
You know?
yes.
And I'm pretty sure they don't. Yeah.
No, they don't want that out there. I know. That's what my daughters say.
No.
And then I talk about the power of water. I advise people to do the experiment with water to see how powerful is water and your body
Have you done
contain. Oh yes, I have my 3 jars for
Yeah.
more than. It's been since 2017. We did it at school for a school experiment. They say, okay, let's do a science experiment. They didn't tell us. The teacher say to the kid, do whatever you want. I say to the girl, we're gonna do the water experiment. My daughters were the most famous the most famous one at the science fair because everybody was like, what is that? It took us a month to prepare because you have to talk to the water in advance to be able to see the condition of the water changing with the rice inside. So what do? You take a jar. So let me show people like that everybody knows right now. You have a jar. You make sure that that glass of jar. So let me take a glass right now. You make sure that it has a top on, okay? You take that glass.
That has what?
That it has a top on, so it has to be a jar like a Bonne Maman jar or whatever jar. And as you have to remove the label on it. You cannot have the label because if you have the label on that jar, the label and the frequency of the words of that jar will vibrate inside that jar. Thank you for the 419 viewers. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. So since you're listening, make sure of this. Make a jar, remove the label on it. How do you remove the label on glass jar? There are 2 ways because sometimes the glue is very strong. The first way is to put it under hot water and the label naturally will slide off. If it doesn't remove, you add olive oil. Olive oil will make the glue not sticking to it. So what you do, you put olive oil, put it under the water, and now it will remove itself. Now to remove the rest of the glue or the stamp, when they put the stamp of the expiration date on the glass jar? Exactly. So you take alcohol, rubbing alcohol, 70%, put it on a little piece of cotton and just rub it on. And then you have a pure, clear glass jar. So that's the number 1.
That's so very important. Yeah,
Yes.
That's very, very important.
Yes. Nothing, no label, all clear. Just like you, like a crystal, clear like a crystal. Then when you have that glass jar, you put at the bottom just like maybe 1 centimeter. So I know I'm speaking in French, it's centimeters, so maybe half an inch of rice, right? You put white rice inside and then you add water inside. Very important. Do not add tap water. It's poisonous. It has toxin inside. So you have to take purified water or take copper container. So my water, I drink water only for copper container. Why? Because copper is one of the most powerful metal element that transfer and cleans frequency. So it does. Copper, it's in my organ. You see, I have organs on the front of you right now live. I have a lot of organs. I wear organs. You see, look, I have one under here. I am a powerful being. I'm connected to this earth and I use only things from the earth. Copper is from this earth. Copper is natural. So copper, you put your water inside, it will be cleansed naturally by the copper. And then you can use that water, you add it into the gas jar. And then every day, you're going to speak to that glass jar. You have to have 3 glass jars. Why? Because the first one, you're going to call it love. The second one, you're going to call it ignore. And the last one, you're going to call it hate. So you can take a marker, put love, put hate, and put ignore. The ignore one, you don't talk to it. The purpose is to ignore it, to see what it does to children when they're being ignored. Because people are like, oh, I'm not doing anything to that child. I ignore it. No, well, ignore is as powerful as hate.
You don't speak to it. You don't do anything. You don't even address that jar, right?
You just ignore it. You just ignore it, which is extremely, extremely hurtful. to children.
Mhm.
So you leave that jar alone, but I keep that jar close to the hate one because it's the same type of frequency. I do not put the love jar on my shelf. My love jar is on the opposite way. My love jar is all the way at the end, and then the hate and the ignore, they're together. Then every day
Mhm.
you go to it and then you say to your love jar, I love you. Thank you for being in my life. You are so precious. Thank you for being in my water body. Thank you for keeping me healthy. Thank you for letting me have beautiful thought frequency. Thank you for making me connect with magnificent being. So constantly you talk to it like you will talk to somebody that you love, which is, so you're supposed to talk like that to yourself, by the way. Just had to emphasize that. All of you listening right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to talk like that to that first jar. The second jar, the in your, like I say, you don't do nothing, but the hate jar. The hate jar, what you do, and that was the most challenging for me because I don't like to talk hate and I don't like to say I hate you because we are mirrors. We are frequency being.
Mhm.
Our water body reflect on us. So if you say I hate you, you hate yourself. So I said instead, I give you all the hate in this world. I give you all the
Mhm.
pain in this world. I give you all the torturing and suffering done to animal, nature, and children and elders. I give you all the child trafficking and woman and human trafficking. I give you all the nefarious being on this earth and what they're doing to human being. I just continue my, and my daughter says, she says, I give you Trump. Because my
Oh my
children had to
gosh.
do it, and she started to cry because she hated him so much. She was like, I gave him his ugliness, I gave him this. She was just after him one day. So bottom line, our jar went to school. We had to carry them gently, bring them to school. I had a video of a movie showing our experiment for every day for a month. I filmed everything, our entire family doing it together as one, which for that I advise every family to do it. It is extremely important to do it together. If you're alone in your home, do it. But if you have children, do it together because it will make you closer by respecting each other more. Because then when you're going to see the impact of hate on water
Yeah,
and
it's
rice,
yeah.
then the
Yeah,
people in the
it
family,
wasn't enough.
go
It
ahead.
wasn't enough for me to tell my kids anymore that words are powerful. I would say words are so powerful, guys. Words are powerful. Don't talk like that about yourself. You know, whenever my daughter's being critical about herself, and like so doing that experience when they learned about that experiment, like they were like excited. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh my gosh, that's what you keep on saying. Like, I'm like, so let's try it. Yeah, so we can try it
That's
again. So
powerful. Yes.
they
Well,
they
at the
see that
end,
I'm not.
go ahead.
It's not just me saying it. You know, it wasn't just like a
That
spur of the moment like thing that I say to them. Yeah.
that's what I did with my goddess daughter because they were being bullied at school. And one of my
Mm-hmm.
daughter got into a fight. Somebody started to hurt her, and her other one, instead of defending her, she just watched. And I say, we don't do that in my family. So I say to
Yes.
her, we have to do that experiment like that. You understand what is the impact because if somebody hurt your sister, it hurts you because she has the same blood from your mother. So it will hurt you. And for you to not do anything, it will lower your integrity. But when we did the rice water experiment for ourselves, because showing them video, making them read book about it, about science and all of that, is not enough. Children like to learn
Right.
through experiment. So you have to make them
Yeah, that's
do
it.
those experiments.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened? They brought those
Yeah.
jars at school. And then also what is beautiful is when you make them do that, it assists them to liberate their hate, their pain to that jar.
Mm-hmm.
And then to also enhance their love and know how to communicate love to another. So you will see the change in your children while you're doing that experiment. But when they arrive at
And so,
school,
what was your results?
well, this is what's happened. Number one, everybody came to their table. Everybody, even the teacher was like, what is this? We never
Mm-hmm.
heard about this before. I was like, well, if you're a teacher, you should know this because you teach children. You're talking to children all
Right.
day, and then most of teacher, they yell at kids. Okay, I understand. Kids can be,
Yeah.
when you have one kid, it's already challenging. When you have two, challenging. 3, 4. And then when you have 20 or 30 in a classroom, I totally understand. You can go nuts.
Yeah.
So then don't become a teacher then. That's what I said to them. If you can't handle yourself and going to start to swear and scream at them. And then I said, look, what is the experiment? I said, nobody can touch the jar because I didn't want kids to try to open the jar. But I was not in a school when they bring those jars. I was at home. I had to prepare to go live. I said, look, honey, you're going to go with the girls at school. Make sure that the kids are not touching the jar. He said, okay. He went to the school. And at some point, he left the table. And what kids say? Can you open the jar? And then one of my daughters say, we're not supposed to, but they were curious because they wanted to see the jar from the inside. You know how kids are. It's not enough that the jar is clear. They're like, I'm extremely curious like that too. I will ask you to open the jar. And he asked to have the hate jar open. Not the love jar. He asked for the hate jar to be open. And they had to evacuate the school because the smell was so potent in the basement of the school. The school had to bring everybody outside of the school because it smells like everybody was gagging and wanted to vomit. That was the hate jar, guys. The hate jar smells so strong that even in my home, I don't touch it. I leave that hate jar alone. I just show it to people. I take it in my hand just to show it to people how it look like, how the rice is yellow and have some black dots and it looks like all weird inside. And the love jar, the rice is white. The water is clear and serene. And when I just touch the love jar, I cry. That's how powerful that love jar is. Because remember, it's been years that we've been talking to that jar every day, sending love. So that love jar contained all our love for years.
So to bring it full circle, like, what is in our lives, right? In our lives, I mean, I have my reasons, as do you too. Like the significance of this wisdom, like understanding what we're just talking about right now, and then like having it to show your daughters what you're learning from it as well. Like, what would you expect them to take from it?
I let them take whatever they could take because we're not here to tell them how to think. We need to stimulate their thinking. I let them take whatever they wanted to take. And when they took it, one still misbehaved. As of today, one has to be handled because she's still doing stuff out of integrity. But the other one, it stimulated her to think like this. That's what she does. I said to her, can you please tell me why you don't do what your sister is doing? And she said this to me. She said, my integrity make me think about what I'm about to do and what it could create. And I'm like, so that means you stop before you do something and you're like, is that okay with my parents? Is that what I was taught? Is that going to hurt somebody? Is that going to... Consequences. And I'm like, why is your sister don't have it? And she's looking at me. She say, I don't know. And when I ask her sister, she's telling me, well, time will change. I will change. And I'm like, yeah, but it's been years that she's saying that. And meanwhile, you're still hurting your sister, your mother, your father with your behavior. So how long should one wait for time to change? And she said, well, I don't know. It's challenging because when I want something, I just want it and I just take it. And I'm like, but we give you everything that you want. Why do you want to take more than what you have? She said, I can't explain. I just have to have it. So I tried to have a spiritual being coming to my home and do spiritual cleansing. And that spiritual being told me that there is a being, there is an entity, there is a frequency that is stimulating my first daughter to behave this way. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
I can understand because I believe in entities, I believe in frequency, and I believe that some children can be connected to a wrong frequency, but we are not here to disconnect them. They have to disconnect themselves. You cannot do nothing. It's like you, when you were taking the drug. I'm sure everybody was telling you, please stop, please do this. Please. But it was you and your own choice that had to do something. Probably you were pushed, but at the end, you made your choice to stop to do it. So my daughter gonna have to make her own choice. And I said to her, look, you have 6 more years with us. I'm going to give you 6 more years. Then after that, you're 18. But whatever choice that you're going to do out there in this world, going to be your consequences, not mine.
Right, right.
So I'm very direct with them. I talk to them not like they are children. I talk to them like they are beings. Beings that are thinking fully, not like, oh, but you know, it's a child, they don't understand. No, 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 people, you need to stop thinking like that.
I've never once spoken to any of my kids like they couldn't, like I had to speak like a baby to them. I never baby talked to them. It was always just like
straightforward,
you know, full words, straightforward, like appropriate, but I would never keep it. I mean, I would never be like, you know, oh my gosh. Okay, so my daughter, my battle, my struggle right now is the fact that my kids spend half of their time at grandma's house, which is like the complete opposite from what energy is being happening at home.
Yes.
You know, and like, so I kind of come over there to pick them up after the weekend, and my daughter is like, she comes out of there, she's like crying, like really hard, and like I'm looking at her like, what's wrong with her? Like she's like showing something on her foot. She said her foot felt itchy, and she started crying. I'm like, I wasn't trying to make her feel non-validated, you know, but I was like, okay, come over here, just sit down. Your foot's probably asleep.
Yes.
And it's probably just acting up. I'm
yes.
like, you know, you felt this before. You don't have to cry. You know, you're not bleeding. Everything's fine. And then here comes my auntie with a freaking ice pack, about to like ice pack her foot, and it makes her cry more. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, she has this thing where she's a very good actress, and she loves to act. And like she loves it. She can cry on cue. And she loves it. She pranks people all day long. And like, so it's hard to take her seriously. But
it's interesting what you're saying, because my first daughter,
she's doing, you know what I mean?
My first daughter too. It's interesting what you're saying, because my first daughter too. She's very good at making you feel bad for her, or making you feel like, okay, I forgive you, let's go. And when I talk to other beings in my life that are also mothers that have their first children, they all have their first children that have that same attitude, but the second one or the third one don't have it. What is it about the first child? Is it because maybe...
This is my youngest.
Oh, this is your youngest? I thought it was your first one. Girl. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. She's my only girl, and she does get that from me, because I used to be like that. Like, I used to feed off of that. That's what basically carried me throughout my whole drug use. Like, because I was always able to talk my way out of things, or just get over on people. And then it got to a point where I became numb to my consequences, you know, and like, yeah. So, I mean, it was tough, like dealing with a lot of shadow work when I got sober.
Okay.
You know, because I got a chance to look at myself, like the cloud was gone. You know, the cloud that I had been keeping myself on and distracting myself on from my reality, it was gone, and I was faced with myself, and it was like it was like, if you can imagine being in a room with the person that you hate the most, or you've ever hated the most, or you've ever felt any type of animosity towards the most, and you're just like stuck with them and you can't do shit about it. They're just there.
Well, that's
you're
what's happened.
Annoyed by them.
Yes.
And you know, and that person is you. And that's what the first 4 months after my daughter was born, she had a hard birth, you know, and I flatlined while giving birth to her, and she was 8 weeks early, and she was breech, and she had the cord wrapped around her.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, so she wasn't supposed to make it, or that's what the talk was between the medical professionals around me, because I understand the terminology, you know, from school and stuff like that, and like all I could figure out in the time frame that it took for me to be entering the hospital to the surgery table, which was like 10 minutes, I heard them calling for blood bags, stat, the crash cart.
Mm-hmm.
They said that I was flatlining, and they couldn't find her heartbeat. So I, in my head, that we were both goners, and I was passing out, and on the surgery table, and they were basically already cutting me open for, you know, to take her out. And when that was going on, like, I exited my body, and the feeling that I felt, this is strange because I just spoke about this, I think 2 days ago or yesterday. The feeling that I felt was like I was hiding from something and I had to leave my body to hide. It was weird. And then when I heard my daughter cry, I know that I know for sure that there was a powerful being that was either around me or that's who I was trying to hide from. I can, in hindsight, I want to say that was the creator, a creator, like maybe like that was the time that I was supposed to go. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like I was hiding for something. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. But when I heard my daughter cry, I went back into my body, and then I woke up in the recovery room, and like this is how my brain was thinking back then. The first thing that I look at when I woke up in the recovery room, and this is my third child, so I already know the deal. Like I know where all the pain is going to be at, so like that wasn't my concern. But my first concern was to look at my wrist to see if there was handcuffs on my wrist to the bed, because I knew I had committed a crime. They found an enormous amount of drugs in my daughter's system, like to the point where that was all that she was consuming for about 8 weeks.
Wow.
And and she was in the incubator. She wasn't in the room with me because she was preemie 8 weeks earlier, so she had to go straight to the NICU and be in the incubator. They told me that it would be 2 months that she needed to stay in there, and she got out after 30 days. And then they also told me that she needed to be on the respirator, like on the breathing machine for at least 4 weeks, but she got off after 24 hours and she could breathe on her own. And since then, she's just been, and there's nothing wrong with her. She's a miracle baby. And
well, she is.
Such a miracle.
She is. So now, beings that are listening, please, now you hear through Roro, do not do drug when you are pregnant, because you will see the damage on your child. And I don't think your child should pay for your own problem and situation. Another being that you already make yourself pay for whatever you have experienced. It's already a lot. Don't make another being pay for that too.
Exactly. Let's get through some of these comments and then I'll
yes, definitely. Go ahead, dear.
You brought up a good point.
Susie Rara, check your DMs before the PMs.
For what? Ooh. Oh my God, I hate you so much. That looks so good. He sent a picture of what he's gonna eat. Okay, let's go there.
Good afternoon, Rara. Good afternoon, Calvary. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. I'm in the background eating my spaghetti.
Namaste.
Yes, I do indeed had a Like Me account when it first started back in 2015. It was an amazing platform, but it really changed a lot.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But this is what does happen. They banned me from Live Me. And the thing is, I had a professional account for my TV show, and they didn't like what I was sharing because I was sharing stuff in China that they didn't want the Chinese to know about. So they banned me on Live Me. It's like TikTok. Thank you for the dragon. Somebody gave me. That's beautiful. That's what I love about Live Me. On Live Me, people can send you gift live. And sometimes there's people coming in the room, that there is Trooper that just shared the broadcast. Trooper, let me give you a beautiful message from the universe, Trooper, because the way you came in with that lion, that golden lion. So this is a message from the universe, dear Trooper. Your message from the universe is saying, relationship is like a finger. Relationship is like fingers of your hand. I totally agree. Relationships is like fingers of your hand. One cannot do much. It's true. That's what she was saying, your hand is you, and the 5 people that are surrounding you are feeding you. So the hand is you, I repeat, and the 5 fingers are the 5 people that are surrounding you. So it can be your coworker if you don't have anybody around you. It can be your sibling. It can be your parents. It can be your friend. It can be your coworker. Whomever it is are feeding you. So I think you should be careful on who you have, the 5 people in the hand that you are. that you surround yourself with. So it's not that we cannot do much, but if you select selectively the being in your frequency, which is the 5 being around you, then your life will be better. That's what I do. I treat the being that are around me, that are feeding me great frequency, the best. The one that I don't, I just let them be. If they start to attack me, I do the mirror effect. I do the same thing back. Don't tell me like, oh, but that's not nice. What? I should let people hurt me? No. That I don't like that idea that people say, yes, but that's not nice to get revenge. It's not revenge. If the person comes to you and swear at you, you just do the mirror. Just take a mirror in your hand and show them the mirror. Like that they face themselves. So somebody here, thank you, Trooper. They're giving me stars 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Wow.
he said,
Awesome.
I understand that. Thank you, Trooper, for being here. Then there is Yuri. Yuri says, keep speaking the truth, knowing the hard you come with it, the harder they buck back. Yes, I know that they will do whatever they can to stop my frequency, but my frequency cannot be stopped. So I'm not
Right.
worrying about that. And then he said, Yuri said, mindful integrity. Yes, congrats. I level up. Oh my gosh, somebody just made me level up. So yes, Live Me is still good, but the first application, not the second, I don't know. Don't ask me how I did this. I still keep the old application because I have a phone that I'm still using since 2015, and that phone I didn't change nothing inside. I just make sure that hacker cannot go in it. I'm very good with technology. I know how to go in the background in HTML and coding. So I made sure my telephone is really well protected. So I have the oldest application on LiveMe, and that oldest application is not downloadable anymore. So if you get Live.me, you will get the newest application. So I don't know if you can find me on the newest application, but I am on the oldest one, and I'm still having a lot of connection, and I adore you guys. Thank you for being here. So now let's listen more. Do you have more of those little bubble?
Yes.
If you want to press them, go ahead.
Yes.
Hello. I have a show that starts a little later, around 2 o'clock Pacific Standard, 5 o'clock Eastern, called My Sister's Keeper, and I would love to see you ladies there.
Ooh, that's so sweet,
we are here.
dear. That's so sweet, dear.
I know, right?
You know what? I'm gonna keep her information in. I'm gonna add her like that. Next time, I will be able to go and acknowledge this beautiful being that came. That's so beautiful. So you want to press the next one? She's saying something.
Susie.
Hello, Rara, and OMniREADY. Much love.
Namaste, dear.
This just called in the middle of my comment. But yeah, the documentary that Omni was speaking about, the zombies, I can't pronounce. They don't just. It's so much deeper than just the addiction. It's also the environment that they're living in.
Of course.
It's one of the poorest regions and filled with trash and hopelessness. So please do pray for those children.
Yes.
Pray for all those children, all the children of the world who are suffering in any way. And send them hope, love, your hearts. It's what they need. Our thoughts. It's so powerful.
Yes.
Yes. On the same time, though, I received a message from the universe yesterday that was very painful to hear, but it is the truth. All the beings right now that are destroying themselves on this earth, all of them, children, adult, animal, we can't put them in it because thank you for the diamond, guys. Thank you, Trooper, for the diamond. I appreciate. Not that I want diamonds because I know how diamonds are being collected with children again suffering. So that's why I'm not into diamond, but I like I like virtual diamonds. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. So yes, in the documentary, it's very important to know that they are living in trash. Like literally, they are living in trash. But where that trash come from? They come from America, number one, China, number two, and all the other countries that are like now refusing the trash. So we are responsible for that trash. Number two, those children on purpose, the government do not feed them. So in order to forget that they are hungry, because all of them, you will see the documentary, they all say, it makes us forget about the fact that we are hungry. There is no food.
Yeah.
So they're smelling that glue, they're smelling that gasoline in order to forget about the hunger. Now, the interesting thing, the universe said, but look at how powerful they are that they can make babies. Because then they went to the slumber where they are sleeping because they're sleeping underground, they're sleeping in tunnels, they're living like rats, literally. And when you look at, you see the woman, they have babies in their hand. So that's this is what's happening. The women actually are sleeping for money, but because they don't have no way of not getting pregnant, they're just making babies and just releasing the babies for whatever like that in the world. So it's a vicious cycle that can be stopped very easily. First, by changing the environment, that means cleaning the environment. And they are machine right now. I know they're gonna drop some viewers. When I say that, they usually they remove some viewers. They are machines that have been created by powerful being that find a way in Japan, in Australia. I don't have that right now. I have to find it on YouTube. It's in my playlist on YouTube that's called Solution. If you go to my YouTube channel, I created playlist for you. I'm an extremely curious being. I watch documentary after documentary and I collect everything. I'm a researcher. I like to dig. I like to investigate and I keep the information for you to have it right there. So there is a playlist that's called Solution. And in that playlist, so let me put that playlist on the screen like that you have it. Since I already talked about that documentary, let me go my channel. So let me put that on the screen. And we're gonna share this one. So as you can see right here.
Knowledge.
Yes.
And sharing it with us.
Yes. That's my pleasure, dear. That's what I did when I became a producer. I didn't even want to be on the front of the camera. I wanted to be behind and somebody to talk about it. But I did a casting and every person that was coming, they was just reading on the screen, not understanding what they were saying. You know, like news people that are being paid to lie.
Yeah.
So that's what they wanted me to do. Oh, just pay me. I will say whatever you want. I said, no, I want you to understand it. I want you to comprehend that information like that the people can feel it, because if you lie, if you're not saying that with your heart and mind with integrity, they're not going to receive it in their water body. So exactly. So the universe say, oh, well, so you're going to have to do it. And then the first time I did a show, I couldn't look the camera. I was like, I don't like this camera. I don't like to look at people. I just want to be behind. Why are you forcing me this? It took me few weeks and months, but then the day that I started to stare at that camera, I understood the power of it. And now I just love to stare at the camera because I know you are watching me and I am watching you. And then we are connecting because our eyes is the door, the window of our soul, which is our frequency. So we are connecting through our eyes frequency. That's why it's important right now. People need to see each other's face. Remove that stuff from your face. Breathe, people. I know people don't like when I'm saying that. It doesn't matter. So when you go to my channel, it's right there. See, next to me, right there. No, right there on that side. On YouTube, you can see it. So you see I made playlists. You click on playlist and I have created hundreds of playlists, and that's nothing compared to the channel that I had for 17 years, but YouTube decided to delete it because It was having too much information that they didn't want online. You know what's going on right now, the censoring, the deleting of natural health, of natural wellness with the mind and body. So when you click here, you have cooking. If you want to learn how to cook the way I cook, I do not eat processed food anymore. I do not put poison in my body. I respect my water body. Thank you for giving me more gifts. Thank you very much. So then there is one that I want you to focus on right now. It's about rights. And this is where there is the documentary about the zombie of Nairobi. It's in the in rights, because I'm showing you what are your rights, your human rights, and I'm showing you how they're breaking the human rights and how we can all join together, because the human rights will not work if we don't join together. Me by myself talking about the human rights protect only me. When I go outside, nobody mess with my frequency. When I go to a store, nobody asks me to wear anything. I am free because I am a sovereign being. And that's what I'm teaching in this playlist, rights. Then you have the one about money. I talk about cryptocurrency. Please be careful about that. Then there is a one social media to learn how to be a social media guru like me, learn how to produce. It's in social media setup. So I have plenty of playlists for you to be as powerful as I am. It's right there for you. But the one that talks,
awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you, dear.
That is really good.
So the one that talks about the solution is right there. When you click on it, you will see. But that's interesting. I just see a video in there that I didn't put in there, but that's what YouTube does. So I'm going to remove this one. Interesting. So we're going to go to the solution one and open it. So there is a 22 years old has raised 30 million to fund his idea behind cleaning up plastic in the ocean. They are censoring that little being because he's 22. He's still a tiny little being to me. 22, it's like just starting life. He raised $30 million to clean the entire ocean of plastic. Solution. Then there is another one that he said that it will take less than few years to be able to clean the ocean. Then there is regreening the desert. So they have created little tiny balls in Africa that have a seed inside. And that little ball, it's made on purpose that animal cannot chew on it. Nothing can happen to it, but nature will swallow it and grow trees. Solution. Run your car on water. Solution. How to use your phone or tablet acting on YouTube with TV and code. Solution. Protect generator and car from EMP. Solution. And then on and on and on. So they have removed the video that was talking about how to what I was just talking right now, to cleanse the trash. There is a man that created a machine and he's asking for the world to send him the trash because he's utilizing your trash to make electricity. Solution. But they don't want those machines to be out there because they want that earth that to be full of pollution, to be full of trash. Because why? Then after they can say, oh, give me money, give me donation, I will assist this. So they create the problem, make you feel they're going to resolve the solution. Meanwhile, those rich people like Bezos with Amazon and Kill Bill with that Gate Foundation, they get the money and then they do what they do with it. They remove it from their taxes because they say, look, we gave some donation to clean the trash that we put ourselves there. So it's a vicious cycle. They want
the problem, and then they present their solutions.
Exactly, but their solution, they don't do anything.
That's the predictive programming at its finest.
Exactly. So those beings that are living in Nairobi, this is their system. The people at the top are nefarious beings that are being controlled by nefarious beings. They're not cleaning the trash. They're accepting to receive money, meanwhile, from China, America, and all those big countries to receive the trash because China now refuse the trash now. China say, we're done with your trash. You can keep it. So when China have trash, they send it to Nairobi and say, here, a little bit of money for you people. Who keep that money? The people at the top. They don't help the children. They don't clean the ground. So it's a vicious cycle, but it's stopping right now. I'm just saying, don't be like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. No, 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 no. What is happening right now is because the truth is coming out. And the truth cannot be stopped. And they're trying as much as they can as to control as many people as they can because they are dying. So they want to take as many people as they can with them. But that's another story.
It feels a little bit desperate, doesn't it?
It feels desperate, but it's not desperate. It's a cleansing. There is a post that I just posted just before I went live with you. And I'm going to share it live. I'm going to read it for you. Insta. And there you go. You're going to see it right now. This is a beautiful post that a friend sent me. Probably is listening right now. This is Jerome. He sent me this. So every day being send me beautiful posts in my DM. Although the world is full of suffering. So this is what I received from the universe before I received this post yesterday about those children in Nairobi. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it. Many seize disruption and think the world is falling apart and things are getting worse. But this isn't the case. This is simply a breakdown of the old in order to make way for the new. After all, we cannot rebuild until we transform what does not serve us. That is deep. And that is what I've been believing. When they say it's going to be the end of the world in 2012, I was like, yay! People was like, why are you happy about the end of the world? I said, because I know which world is ending. It's not the earth. The earth is going to be fine.
Yeah, right.
It's not the earth. Right. The earth's going to be here. You're going to die tomorrow. The earth is going to be here. The animals going to be here. Nature's going to be here. You're going to be gone, though. We are just passing by. They also are passing by. And the truth about them, the being that are creating what is happening on earth right now, they've been creating this from thousands of years. Actually, since this, I said, people was like, what do you mean by BC and BC AD? Because people say BC, it says before Christ, and AD is after. What would mean AD?
After death.
Is Anno Domini. That's in Latin. So I said, instead of saying BC for before Christ, let's call it before confusion. So BC, before confusion, because I like to make acronym. And DAD, let's call it. What do you think we should I call it? The AD. If it is before confusion for BC, what is AD? I call it after deception. So when the Christ, that idea of Christ, poor Jesus, they put him on the cross and torture him and make him do all of this while he was the one coming and giving the message that we are all one. We all need to be together. There is no separation. We are all connected. They put him on the cross and say, we don't want that type of message here. Those are the beings that started everything. So you need to go and look who put him on the cross, because there was few of them. Don't just point at one group. There is 3 groups that are part of this. And I know people are like, no, don't say this. They are the 3 groups that are fighting for that so-called Jerusalem land. Those 3 groups of being are the ones that are manufacturing and making human trafficking the number 1 money making in the world. Those 3 groups.
Yep.
So before BC is before confusion, because now we are in confusion for the people that don't know, because you are praying for them. You're going to all their beautiful temple, and then you're saying amen, or you're saying, whatever other word. We're not going to say all their names and all, because I'm not giving them power. And then you perpetuating them to stay alive in this matrix that they have created. And that's where we are right now. Their matrix is falling apart, because now we are realizing the deception. People are awakened to that deception. So that's what you need to be right now, in that state of, no, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of their world. Why do you think they're censoring so much? Because they don't want people to know. They want people to stay in that idea that everything is okay, they're saving us, they're giving us the best thing. Who heard about the Fire Act for Sea? I'm sure only few people heard about it, because they don't want to put it on the big news. But they're starting a Fire Act for Sea, Fire for Sea, whatever, Fire for Sea Act. They want to fire him, this man, this tiny little man. I call him Napoleon. Because he's an American Napoleon. So people are aware of what's going on, and they don't want that to happen. But you can't stop it. There are people saying, we don't want that anymore. Enough with this. This is way too much. So there are things happening in the background that you might not hear because you're watching the main news. But the main news is not the real news. You need to go deeper. You need to go type online the fire, F-I-R-E, for sea. For sea in French, it means so fake. For means fake, and sea, so fake. Look at the name that he has. And then, yeah, I know, it's funny because when I say that to people, it says, because you're French, you know that. Yeah, well, that's what it is. Fauci means so fake in French. And then act, A-C-E. Oh, yes, that's powerful. When you look in word frequency, when you understand the matrix and how it speak and how you manifest things with word, you understand who is who. Like, I mean, Bill Gate of what? And then, you know, the movie Kill Bill. So I say, okay, I'm going to call him Kill Bill then. Kill Bill Gate. You know, you give them the right word. They don't like it. I was sharing a powerful video yesterday. They didn't want me to upload it because it was too powerful for them. They say, no, we can't have this there. It was about the fact that now they are manufacturing and they have released more than 150,000. Like I said, they create the problem. They say, oh my gosh, there is too much mosquito in United States, especially in Florida and all of that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to create mosquito that's going to kill those mosquitoes. So they're manufacturing mosquitoes, and the bait company have released 150,000 mosquitoes in the air. Now people are asking, like me, I'm asking, if the mosquito are going to the people that have the jab and then come to me and take my blood, am I receiving something from their blood? So this is what we're questioning right now. What do we do with this? Since they are manufacturing this. And when I try to share that video that is on his website, that's his video on his website. He should allow me to share it. He should be happy. But no, they don't want me to share it. So I want you to go and look into this. 150,000 mosquito has been released, and they are in United States, so-called killing the other mosquito. I don't believe that. And I saw a weird mosquito one day in the park, a mosquito with black and white stripe. I never saw a mosquito like that before. And when
one that was blue and yellow.
That's weird. Mosquito are not like that. And when I got poked by it, it gave me pain for 2 weeks, and I had an egg on the top of my skin.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
So
I would have been scared.
Me too. I was concerned because my daughter too, she got poked on the leg and she had an egg on and I say, okay, we need to do something about it. So now from now on, we've been wearing all the different natural oil, the tea tree oil, the hemp oil, the lemongrass, the mint or peppermint oil. We advise you to get those natural oil, make your own little perfume and wear that every day because they don't like it. They don't like strong scent, lemony strong scent, tea tree oil. Like I wash myself with only Dr. Bronner soap because I trust them so far. It's a natural soap and they have beautiful message on their bottle. I wash that. I wash everything actually with it. I wash Namaste. I wash my guinea pig, myself, my children. We're only using that soap. So I will advise you to get that soap to protect you from those mosquitoes because we don't know.
Let me play these comments.
Yes, definitely. Go ahead, dear.
What y'all doing?
What y'all doing? Hey, Lazy Brooke. How are you today? Oh my gosh, my daughter does the exact same thing. My daughter, she's 6 and she has ADHD and ODD, and so like I already have some obstacles to tackle with her. But when she was younger and I was trying to figure out like things, especially when she got hurt, like she would try to like hurt herself so she could get a popsicle. Because whenever she would get hurt, I would try to distract her from the pain. So she would go out and try to hurt herself just so she could get a popsicle or
Oh my
candy or
gosh.
something like that. And she told me one day, Mom, I think I broke my butt crack. I need a popsicle. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And I just I couldn't with her that day. Oh my God.
That's so funny. I would say this because I literally used to be like that when I was a kid. And, I can remember a few occasions where I lied about being hurt because I either wanted my brothers to get in trouble or I just felt like, utilizing my power and my persuasive ways, because I was also the youngest and only girl, just like my daughter. And so when she does these things, I know, I feel it. I just know where it's coming from, and I'm 100% right every single time. If I really did feel like something's going on for real, it's different. It's a different environment. She comes at me differently, and she is more in a conversational type of attitude rather than just wanting to show emotions and like being super dramatic and like things don't make sense. The things that she's saying, like my foot's itchy, and then it started to like. I'm like, little girl, little me.
Wow.
Like, but I'll tell her to the side, because I don't want to embarrass her, and I don't want her to feel like it's bad to be her, or not bad, but like I disown her for feeling that way, because when I was doing that, like, I don't know if my parents caught on or whatever, but their reaction was to just like ignore me, basically. And yeah, just like flat out ignore me. But with my daughter, I will like sit her down and be like, I know what you're doing. You're not in trouble. Don't do that. Okay, like this is not the place to do that. You have your grandma over here trying to hold a pack of ice to your foot that's not even hurting, and she's like literally standing there, like because that's her granddaughter. She's like, it doesn't matter what it is. She's just like anything that she says. I understand that. I don't want to take that away from her, but I also don't want my daughter to develop these tendencies to take advantage of people, because that's what happened with me. I definitely took advantage of people because I knew how to do that, and all the while not understanding what consequences could come about from messing with people's energy and emotions like that.
Yes.
I found myself in really dark places, having to put on another facade over and over and over again until I couldn't. And then at the end of my run, at the end of my usage, I couldn't recognize who the hell I was. And it was scary.
Okay.
My own reflection looked different, looked like a totally different person. And it was crazy how I had this revelation, because I was in the bathroom. I had just given birth to my daughter, and this whole situation had happened. Social worker came in already. She's already being removed from the home. My whole family, all my kids are being removed from the home. And this is for the second time. And so I'm like, this is a pattern that I know, and I knew.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. This is why I told myself after giving birth to my daughter, because I knew that there was this pattern that was happening to me that was not going to stop. And if I didn't stop myself now, then the next baby that I know I will involve, because that was my MO at the time. My son, who's my second to last, he was only maybe 9 months or 10 months old when my daughter was born. So he wasn't even a year yet, and she was already born. So I saw this pattern happening, and that I knew that the next baby that I would create, I would probably kill, because of my lifestyle. You know what I mean? And that realization came to me when I woke up in the recovery room, and my thought process was different. My speech, my tone of voice, my clarity, everything was different about me, like the essence of me. Like I wasn't. Well, my circumstances wouldn't allow me to think about getting high or anything, but naturally I would have, and I did, you know. And then I just had this motivation that came out of nowhere. You mean like I wanted to die, like an hour and a half prior, you know, before I woke up in the recovery room. Like I wanted to die. I had no amount of anything. I had no idea what the creator was or who I am as a being. I had no idea. All I saw was just the fuck up that is, you know, I can't even like be pregnant correctly. You know what I mean? Like it was pretty low. It was pretty low time in my life. And to feel, think, and become a totally different person in the next instance was a freaking amazing experience. It was strange because that's what got me through the next 2 years after that. It took me 2 years to get my kids back in custody back and everything. But
wow. So you
I
went
get
through
bored
separation. You went through separation. That's
Yeah.
challenging.
First for the second time. My first one when I was 17, I wasn't ready to, you know, admit my faults, and I had to go back out and do what I was doing again for several years. And then when I was 24, I got pregnant with my son, and then when I was 25, I got pregnant with my daughter and gave birth to her at 26. So when I was 26 is when I finally stopped. But it took me 4 more months after they were removed from the home. I had to just, you know, I don't know. I was ready in my head, but I didn't know how to physically get there because the drugs had me wanting it physically, hating what I was doing. It was like the last 4 months that I was doing that, like it was the time of my life where I hated everything that I was doing. Every movement I made, I hated it because I knew it was not serving me. I had to just, you know, I don't know. I just how to eat, how to just get by every day, and then my kids just got taken away. Like there was no amount of anything left until I remember, until I had this moment where I was in my apartment, and in the bathroom that I was in, in my apartment, the bathroom that it had, you know, those medicine cabinets where there's one large mirror in the middle, and there's two that open on the sides. Have you ever seen that?
I have one only. I have one door open.
Yeah. So the mirror in the bathroom had the big one in the middle, then two on the sides. And the two on the sides were opened, and they opened inward. So they were both like diagonally facing. It was like curving the mirror. So I can see at the same time with my peripherals 3 different reflections of myself.
Okay.
And each one looked completely different. It was strange. I'm pretty sure I was high and delusional at the same time, but like the left-hand side, I saw me that nobody knew because I never showed who I truly was. I was just putting on a facade this whole time, you know. So it was me before all of the madness, and then the one on the right-hand side is the one that really just wants to be a mom, like the part of me that is struggling so hard because like I want this other lifestyle, but I can't. Like I picture myself as that, and that's what I saw in the mirror. Like just the person who so longs to be what she really wants in life and just couldn't get there. And then in the middle, the biggest mirror that showed me my biggest reflection, like all sides of me, was who I actually was when the clouds disappeared. And I was a fucking piece of shit, druggie, like soon to be like part of the child trafficking game without even knowing it.
Wow.
You know, I was presented with a situation of how to handle a pregnancy that I didn't want. And that's how close I came to that devil, to that evil, to that
It was the same for me. It was the same for me. My mother asked me a simple question because at least she was right on this one. I'm not gonna argue. She said, "Do you want to keep a child that came from a rape?" And inside of me, I was like, "But I can't do an abortion because my mind was like not accepting the fact that I was killing a baby." But my mother say, are you going to be able to handle, if you're capable of handling and loving that child with the way it came, then you can. But if you can't say yes, that you're going to be able to love that child with the way it came, you should not make that child suffer, bring it to this world and suffer. And I agree. I agreed with it because I knew I was going to hate that child because imagine if even the child looked like the person that raped me.
Right.
So then giving the child away, I was like, no, I'm not doing all of this. I'm not doing all of this. So since I was in the beginning of the pregnancy, I did it. I will never ever think about doing it again, because when I had my first daughter, I was not in the greatest relationship. It was a lot of fear. It was more a relationship of me loving the person more than the person loved me. So I was like, am I gonna keep a child by myself, living by myself? And then the universe say it will be provided, because it was not like a hate. I didn't hate the person. I was loving the person. So I kept the child, and then now I have two. So I believe that the universe will provide you what you need if that child came out of love. If that child came out, and that's why they're doing that in United States. They don't want the woman to be able to have abortion, because they want those children that are born out of suffering, rape, torture to come out, because those children, what love is going to manifest with them? Even if they are the most caring being, they're the mother not going to give them that. And remember, when we talk about what is the most important thing that a child wants when it comes into this world, is love from its mother, the touch, the caring, the talking, the exchanging information with that mother. If they don't have that with that mother, that child is not going to grow well, and it's going to be depression, it's going to be taking drugs, it's going to be, you understand what I mean? It's going to be another drama in this world. I didn't want to bring another drama in this world. I wanted to be responsible and strong enough to say, you know what? No, I'm not gonna love that child. I'm probably gonna hate it, because it's gonna remind me that I got raped. So I was very young. I was 13, so it was not even
Wow.
an idea of me raising that child by myself too. So it would have been extremely challenging, but it was the most treacherous experience to have abortion, because the abortion before and the abortion now, not saying that it's better now, guys, because I know people where I'm living in Manhattan, in the area where I'm living. Sometime there was a woman that we used to see, and we don't see her anymore, which I'm glad. And we were seeing her every year getting pregnant. We could see that she was selling herself, prostitution, but she was getting used to have babies, get pregnant, go to full term, and we never saw her with the children. So I don't know what she did. I don't know when the children ended, but what is that? I don't agree with this. So I don't agree with abortion, but I don't agree to have a child out of suffering, because that child's going to suffer. Some people are going to tell me, yes, but he can go to adoption and end up in a great family. Okay, well, I'm not saying is not, but with everything that's happening in the world, do you think it's a good idea? I don't think it's a good idea to have a child that you're not sure that you're going to care for. So the universe says that right now, what is happening in the world is a cleansing. There is too much suffering that are not being handled, that actually being put oil on it and fire on it to make more of it, because it feeds them. It feeds those nefarious beings. They want more of that, because a child that grow up suffering, hated, no love, that go depression, drugs, gonna hurt other people. First, they're gonna hurt themselves, or they're gonna hurt others, and they're gonna end up maybe trafficking children. Because most people that are pedophile, that are doing in child trafficking or human trafficking, when you look at their life is atrocious. Of course, the one that are at the top, that are paying, that are coming with their beautiful plane and boat to come and buy those children, even them, do you think those people are happy? I don't think those people are happy. I think that those people are killing themselves inside, even though they like playing with smiles and they're traveling all over the world. Money doesn't compensate for integrity and well-being of life. It doesn't compensate, guys. There is no
What makes them
price.
happy is death.
Yes.
Now that's a freaking oxymoron right there.
I know.
You know.
Yes.
Seriously.
I'm going to create more death to make myself happy. Do you think the universe is going to support that? No. But they are a great example for us to know how to make the difference. So
we have more comments.
Go ahead, dear.
Amen was just the name of the Egyptian god. Just saying. And BC, yes, before Christ, if you want to call it before confusion, that's fine. But people don't really know what AD actually means. I know you're making up your own saying, like after deception, but people think it means after death, and that's not what AD stands for. It's Años Domingo.
That's what I say, Años Domino.
Our Lord.
Yes.
Just so everybody understands. Because it doesn't make sense. Why would it be before Christ and then after death? He didn't die for like 30 years. What's in between BC and AD then if you think it's after death? And that used to always annoy me. Still does.
Yes, that's what 20 that's what Roro was saying, but I corrected it and I did say Anno Domino because I learned Latin. I hated learning Latin at school because my teacher hated me.
And then what does it translate to?
Anno is for année, and année mean year, and Domino is dominion, and then you understand the year of domination, basically. So yeah, when you have to learn Latin, that's what I did with my daughters. They learn, and then don't tell me, oh, but I don't have no money to learn. Look, there is a application online that is called Duolingo. Duolingo is free. You can learn whatever language you want on Duolingo. My daughters are learning Korean, English, French by themselves. So if they can, if I can, I learn a little bit of Japanese. I know how to count up to 10. Spanish is not far from French. I made my own language, the manifest language, which is the language I'm speaking. I observe the word frequency. If I don't understand a word, I go and look at the word in a dictionary. And I don't look at just the first definition of a dictionary. I go and look at the etymology of it, meaning its root, where it come from, where it was used the first time.
You know Latin.
Yes, it assists. It does assist me. I hated it to learn it, but I'm very proud to have learned it because I am now knowledgeable about where it come from. So yes, it's Anno Domino for AD, and it means the year of domination. But nobody want to tell about those AD because that's why they say after death, because it's better to, like to say, oh, okay, after death, like ignore it. Let's not talk about this. So,
it caps it.
So no, it's a powerful, you will learn the truth from them, the nefarious being, through Latin and through looking into the etymology of word. And today there is a beautiful video that I wanted you to listen, guys. If you would like to, first let's do your bubble because we want to make sure we listen to everybody, and then I can share a video with you if you want to.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna put all of them there.
So the way the mosquito thing works, which has already been done in Brazil and a number of other places, is the mosquitoes don't actually go and kill other mosquitoes. What they do is they genetically modify the male mosquitoes. So, and they modify them in a way that their offspring cannot carry the malaria, and there's another disease, I forgot the other disease. And so when the male mates with the female on this, with a wild regular female, any new males will also have the same genetic tracer. And so eventually what'll end up happening is the populations of mosquitoes that can carry malaria will just disappear, and there'll just be these new types of mosquitoes. Now, if you want to say, well, I'm done with my comment.
I really appreciate you, dear.
But
I'm sorry.
I really appreciate his knowledge. I would like to go live with this being. That would be really nice.
Yeah. Maddie, why don't you get in here? Call him.
Yes.
Call him.
But if you want to say that the mosquitoes have some robotic chip and we don't know what they're doing, you can always say that. But the way that it's designed to work is how I just explained it. It's just putting mosquitoes that do not have the ability to carry the malaria and something else, as opposed to mosquitoes in the wild that can carry that disease. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, you can come up with all the rest of the thought process from there.
So, Maddie, this is what I'm going to say. Anything engineered by them, especially by Gates, especially, I don't trust it. So yes, it's very fine that they say, okay, that's nice, because I excuse me, I'm not going to say I hate mosquito, but I'm going to say it. I hate mosquito. Why? Because I am one of those beings that if you are in a park, you can sit next to me, I will be your protection, because the mosquito going to come to me, not to you. People say that my blood is sugary. How do you know my blood is sugary? Number one, I don't understand why they're telling me that. They say, you're so sweet. So that's why mosquito love you. So if I go to a park, the mosquito will come to me. If I am at home, the mosquito will come to me. So people like to be with me because they're like, yeah, you stay around Yael, you have no mosquito coming to you. But that is why I hate mosquito, because they really painfully hurt me. Hence why I have to wear all those oils. When that mosquito that I believe was the engineer one bite me, it was like that, say that egg. And I get pain. I remember my mother sent me into those camp, like a children camp when you're little, for vacation. We have 2 months of vacation in Paris every year from July and August. And your parents just send you away and you go on vacation with other kid, right? And then you get abused too there, but that's another story. So you get you get in those camp. I came back from those camp. My mother could not recognize me because I got so beaten. My face was deformed. She could not recognize my face. This is how mosquito loves me. So that's why I don't like mosquito. So yes, I agree with that engineering that they go the male and animate and then there is no. I understand that's pretty fine, but I know that they also adding something else to it. So now to add to this, I'm gonna open my Telegram. I'm gonna do my best to open the Telegram, and I'm gonna have that video probably playing. So give me 1 second. Let me open. Let's see if that's going to work, because I don't want to stop the live with you while I'm opening this, because I share that with my MMG in my Telegram. So it's right here. Because they didn't want me to share Telegram. They banned me for it. So it's a Bill Gates funded the company releasing gene-hacked mosquito. The Gates Foundation funded Oxitec work and design generated mosquitoes. But the thing that is nefarious is the video that he has. It's a video. So let me describe it. So you see a land, water, like a swamp. And then the camera is shooting. So let me put pause 1 second. I'm going to put it smaller because this is way too big. So for people that want to see on Live Me, on Instagram, on other live that you cannot see what I'm sharing because you see only me, go to YouTube and you'll be able to see what I'm sharing, but I'm going to do my best to describe it. So that video, so there is the swamp, and then the swamp moving forward. And at the end of the swamp, you see, how do you call that being that have that fork, that a shape, the one that come and collect people, that kill people? The Reaper. My daughter said the Reaper. There you go. My daughter know better than me on that. So the Reaper. So it look in the back like the Reaper, like the shape of the Reaper at the end of the water. And then it goes toward the Reaper. The Reaper has his how do you call that thing that you're supposed to how do you call it? Control. Let me make it smaller. That Reaper sword, because it's a specific sword, like it's curved. How do you call it? It has a name. I'm sure you know what your friend Mati is gonna tell me what it is. I know he's listening. He's gonna say, yeah. It looks like a staff, but it's a nefarious staff. Exactly. So this one. What did he say? I don't understand.
He's talking something about Fauci.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe like the fact, maybe like the fact that I say that faux mean fake in French, and C makes so fake. So maybe like that fact. Yeah, I can.
It's just crazy.
So maybe like that fact. Huh?
That's so funny.
So my daughter say the Green Reaper is a scythe.
I was sexually assaulted, and my sexual assault resulted in my oldest son. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't love my son any less than I love my other children. I love my son just as much as I love my other kids, if not more, because he's my firstborn. I love him with all my heart. I never second guess whether I wanted to have him or not, whether he came from sexual assault or not. I love my child regardless. And it's not his fault. And it was not his fault. And it's no kid's fault that that's how they got created. And I never believed in abortion, and I don't believe in that, and I don't believe in killing kids, even if now, if you're a rape victim and you want to get an abortion, that's on you. That's your problem.
I understand it. I will reply to you. I totally understand it. That's why I was listening to that very important fact. If you can have that child and love that child, this is one of the most powerful things that you can do, dear. But I'm sure that child, if you ask the question to your child, dear, are they happy that they came from the man that raped you? I'm sure that child probably feel bad inside somewhere, somehow, about the fact that they came out of rape. Yes, of course, he is in adoration to you, that you keep him alive and then you loved him and you cared for him. But the pain that rape have created for him to be created is doing something to him psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. You can't remove the fact that he loves you, is looking at you in your eyes, knowing the love that he has for you and you have the love for that child, and that child doesn't think in their mind, why did I came from that man that raped you? It has to come at that point that the child has to think about that. Does that mean that that child doesn't have to die? No, I didn't say that. I said that me personally, I knew by the way I got raped. Number one, I got raped from the age of 6 and up by police officers every night. So already I was having a lot of trauma in my water body. Your water body memorize everything. So that means all the trauma is in there. If you don't heal it, it's going to go to your baby. So when I got raped that day and then I was pregnant, it was just only adding from all the rape that I had before from the age of 6 till 13. So no, I knew in my heart and mind that I was not going to love that child. So no, I do not agree in abortion, but I knew that if I was going to bring that child into this world, I would have made that child suffer, because that child would have wondered, why did I let that child go? If I say, okay, you know what, I don't believe in abortion, I'm going to let him be with somebody else. Imagine that child ended up being raped by the people that adopt him. I didn't want to participate in all that trauma. I prefer to let it be and say, I take responsibility. I'm 13 years old and my life right now, I had to make a choice. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to die for having done that. But I made a choice. So I am grateful that you love your child. But know that the pain is still there and it cannot be removed. So that's my perspective. I am not against it. I am not also for a little girl that's being raped and have a baby inside of her by her own father keeping the child. What are you going to say to that child? Oh, my own father raped me. That's how you came. That's your beginning of your life. Deal with it mentally. No. People need to realize that the water, that powerful water keeps everything. The only way to change that water is by meditating for years, by facing yourself for years in a mirror. It takes years to heal something like that. It took me when I had my daughters to be able to heal. And even with my daughters, when they were growing up, they had to face their mommy being tortured by what she have done and experience in her childhood. Because they ask me question, mommy, why are you crying? Because you know, sometimes you go to suddenly you have the burst of tears like that. You cry. Those are trauma. They're coming out. And then your child is looking at it and they want to understand it because they feel you, they love you. So you have to be honest. Thank you for everybody for being here. I appreciate your presence during this live.
also, if you have the child who was born in that way with the memories in their waters, possibility of them repeating that behavior, what would you say, like, is it possible? Does a person have to know that, or
Oh, yes. You want to know why he has to know, dear? Because when you lie to your child, they know. Because your water doesn't lie. It listens to everything. It listens to frequency. You don't have to say no word. Your child will know it. And when the truth gonna come out, if you don't tell them and you tell them later, then they're gonna go to see a therapist or a psychologist to have to deal with the pain that they have received later on in their life. Or they're gonna grow.
Has to,
yes.
Like if they were to be told, and that would make a difference, as opposed to them not knowing. Say for instance they didn't know, would that memory in their water still affect them in that way?
Yes, they will. Yes, they will, because the water,
in a different way.
The water doesn't lie. The water works by itself. The water is ancient. The water is naturally talking to us. That's why sometimes we watch something and then it awaken all the memory, because we have then the water plus our DNA, and our DNA contains our past history and the past history of our mother and father. Everything is in the water. So if you don't tell the truth to your child of how it was made, manifested, co-created, it will come out at some point. It will come out in, like you, for example. You see, you say, I could not explain, I went to that drug, but then I asked you the question about, do you think your parents love you? And you said, and I felt it. You didn't have to say a word. Your silence said everything. Your silence said it. So that's what I'm talking about. We are frequency, and those frequencies speak for us without us even opening our mouth. So I prefer to be honest with my daughters, and I told them everything. And by telling them everything, the beautiful thing is they took it and they transformed it for me, because they understand that they came out of love. My daughters came out of love. It was, oh my gosh. It was like I was in love, and I knew the day that when I was making love, I felt it, that something was happening inside of me. So I know the love that I had for them the day of their creation, manifestation, co-creation. So they were here. People are telling me, Yael, you are really, they say the word bless. I don't use the word bless anymore. I used to say bless you to everybody, but it's been few months to actually a year that I say abundance to you. Be in abundance, or may you receive in abundance, because bless, it's part of the word of the hypnotism of the Christianity and the religion. But when you take the word frequency and you dissect it, bless mean be less. Bless mean be less. So when you bless your food, you're asking for your food to be less. When you bless your children, you say be less. So I said abundance to you. So people say you are abundantly supported. So they say bless, but I will say in my own language, the manifest language, you are abundantly supported because you have two angels in your life. And I agree. My two daughters came. The first one, her name is Simunier Lior. Simunier means we are one. It's a Xusi word that they use in South Africa, meaning like when you come from villages to villages, the way they greet each other, they say Simunier. Simunier. And then you have to look at the other person and say Simunier back, but you have to look at them in their eyes. If you do not look at them in their eyes and cannot say Simunier, they do not let you enter the village, because they believe your frequency is wrong, you have something to hide, you are not allowed in. Somebody told me Simunier, and Simunier moved in my stomach. So I asked the person what means Simunier, and Simunier moved again in my stomach. And the person told me this is a Xusi tribe name, that greeting that they have in South Africa to keep the village safe between each other by saying we are one. If you cannot say we are one in the eyes of the other, you are not allowed in. So I said, okay, if my daughter are moving in my stomach when I say Simunier, obviously it means something. So when she came out, I gave her that name. I believe she chose that name. It's not me. I gave her what she chose, Simunye. And then in the room was a woman, beautiful woman with beautiful eyelashes. Her name was Lior. Lior in Hebrew mean light. So I said a second name, Simunye Lior. So her first name, my first daughter name, my first angel is Simunye Lior. We are one light. My second daughter came almost in the cab. I was holding the cab, screaming in the cab. My husband was with me in the cab sitting. The cab driver say, "Why is she screaming? Please don't have the baby in the cab." He was concerned. He was like, "What should I do?" My husband said, just drive, go to the hospital that we gave him the address. I arrived at the hospital. They came like I was a queen. They came downstairs with the rolling table. They put me on it. I arrived in the room. The doctor looked at me and said, "She's out." I looked at him. I say, "Ha, ha, 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 ha." That's funny because the first one, it took a day, like you're breathing, you're going like with your devil voice, like, oh, like the first one is the second one, she came out like poof. And I looked at the doctor.
31 hours.
I don't remember, but I know it was long. And I was laughing the entire time, the first time. And I looked at the doctor. I said, "Is this normal that I am laughing instead of screaming and crying?" And he said, "You know what, Mrs. Reed? Everybody is different." So I said, "Can you please go and get a mirror? I want to see the birth of my daughter." And they had a mirror. They said, "You sure?" I said, "Yes, I want to see what I'm capable of doing." They brought the mirror. The mirror was a long mirror between my leg, and I saw the birth of my first daughter, and it was the most magnificent experience. The most magnificent experience I ever had. To see myself giving birth, it shows the power that we have as female. We powerful females. So, and the second one, I didn't have time to ask for a mirror because she came out, and then she also they had to resew me because she break me because she came out so fast. And her name is Presence, as having presence, and her Cherokee name because her father is Cherokee, and it means in Cherokee, Divya, it means divinely brilliant. So my first daughter is Simunye Lior, we are one light. The second one is Presence, divinely brilliant. So when I call my daughters, when I say Simunye Lior, Presence, Divya, I said frequency word in my frequency world. I said, we are one light, presence, divinely brilliant, constantly in my life. That's what I've been saying since they were born. And now it's been 12 years that I've been saying that constantly. So observe the word frequency that you are saying. This is how I gave birth. I believe in that we know everything in our water body, but we need to believe in it, number one. We need to communicate with it. You remember when you talk about the mirror and you saw yourself when you were in a bad shape and you saw the other side what you wanted to be?
Yeah.
I experienced the same thing when I was cutting my vein, when I wanted to kill myself because I couldn't take it anymore about what the father of my sister, the police officers that was abusing me. And then I said, he said, if you tell that to your mother, she's going to put you on the street. So you know how pedophile does. They tell you lies for you to be. So I said, okay, I'm not going to talk to anybody. I prefer to leave this earth. I'm going to kill myself. I could not kill myself because when I faced myself in the mirror while I was doing it, and then it takes time to cut your vein. Don't believe people that it's easy to cut your vein. It takes time and it's painful. It's right there. I still have the scars here. I don't have no shame to talk about it because I'm a powerful being, because I face myself in the mirror. And when I faced myself in the mirror were talking, but my face, I was not. My face in the mirror said to me, now, what are you going to do? You have two ways. You die and you come back anyway, or you face everything and rise. And this is where I created the acronym with FEAR. FEAR. Forget everything and run in their hand, in the nefarious being, nefarious world. Or FEAR. Forget everything, face everything and rise like the sun. So when I have a fear, instead of trying to forget everything and run, I face that fear. And that's why I'm a powerful being now, because I'm not afraid of things. I'm so curious that I face the fear and I realize there is nothing to fear. It's only you that manifest the nefarious experiment, and you are the manifestor co-creator of everything. So if you want to give them power, you give them power by forgetting everything and run. But if you face them, they're like, oh, we can't face this one. This one knows. It's like in the Matrix, you know, the movie The Matrix. It's like, this one knows it can see us. And then they let you be because they don't want to fight you, because you will destroy them just by being present.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? Like I've discerned this for some reason. Like I don't know. I like you said, we don't ever learn anything new. We just remember what we have already in our waters.
Exactly.
Like, and
Yes.
what we've already co-created.
Yes.
I have had those actual moments, like and they're moments of clarity to me, where it's like whatever I've been thinking or pondering or something that like I may not have known the answer to before, suddenly I do. It's strange. I used to not know what that was, so I didn't pay attention to it. I thought it was just me being like extra paranoid that I just notice everything so I can like predict what's gonna happen or whatever. But I wasn't paranoid, and there was nothing to be paranoid about, you know. So it's like, how am I knowing these things? And then I got to the point where I was starting to like talk. Okay, so I would be driving and I'll have the radio off and I'll just have a conversation with myself, but not me. But I'm talking out loud and I'm responding to myself. And I'm getting a lot of insight, like things I've never thought of before, or just like a conversation with like a computer. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's very strange.
I understand, dear. You don't have to
You
feel
get
like.
what I mean?
I understand.
Okay,
I have
'cause I'm like,
conversation with
is this so
myself.
crazy?
No, it's not. It's you. It's the powerful being that you
Okay.
are. It is
Yeah,
you.
like I've done that a few times, you know, and I've gotten a lot of clarity. And so I've had this like ever since I was, I want to say like 13. I always knew that there was like some kind of connection that I couldn't see. And I grew up as a Catholic, or I was raised in a Catholic home. And so I had to go through all the sacraments. I went through all the sacraments except for marriage. And I learned nothing. You know, I had no connection to that kind of, I guess, way of life that was trying to be force fed onto me.
Mm-hmm.
But with, and also too with the weird energies and the very like abusive frequencies that I would feel whenever I would go to our church as a kid.
Yes.
And nothing ever happened to me, but naturally I would always grab my mom's hand as soon as we entered those doors, or as soon as we entered in, I would grab for my dad. And I would not want to leave their side.
Me too.
But when we go outside of the cathedral, I'm playing, you know, like with the fountain and everything like that with all the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we would go in there, I just felt like it's that feeling of being lost again, or someone's looking for me, or I'm trying to run. It's weird.
Well,
it's the same feeling that I felt when my mom lost me at the mall when I was 4 years old. I was just like, I need to hide. I don't know. I have no idea that I'm lost. I had no idea I was lost. All I know is that I was scared and I need to hide.
Well,
That's
remember,
like my go-to feeling.
What are we hearing right now? Are we hearing the truth? There is one representative, one clergy in Italy that decided to quit, and he said, I quit because of all the truth that are coming out to what the Catholic Church have done to the native here in United States and Canada for years of pedophilia, torture, putting children on electrical chair and having fun and bringing rich people to sit down to watch all of that torture and abuse on children. He said, I am done, I'm quitting. And then the Pope didn't even apologize for what they have done. He said, oh, I heard about it. Oh, we are hearing about this and we are going to look into it. No, we know that all their ground, all their churches, all their places that they have built the so-called religion. Number one, people need to dive into the etymology of what mean religion. I have separated from friends that are religious because of it. And they tell me, but yeah, I want to be your friend. Why you don't want to be my friend? I said, because you are participating at making those people, those buildings, those frequency, that matrix to continue to stay alive by going and supporting them. Why should I support you? They say, but I'm not going to leave my religion for you. I said, I never asked you to leave your religion for me. I want to let you be. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a good life. But I am not going to support your frequency that is supporting their frequency. While right now, we have stories of millions of children all over the world that have been tortured by them. So
even when that came out, like with the priests and the boys, it wasn't it was like a blink of an eye, you know, and then suddenly now it's not even a thing when it's been a thing for hundreds of years, like
thousands of years.
and
It's been a thing.
thousands of years.
It's been a thing. They used
For
to.
centuries.
They still doing it right
And, like,
now. The killing of the children is
yeah.
part of their way to keep their matrix alive. It's part of their
Exactly.
thing. The only way they can live is by killing
it's
children.
For everything, exactly, and that's why I know, and I fully believe that they are just not human, and you can't be a human.
Exactly.
At the same time.
That's what I say to people. They have.
You're a creature.
Well, let me
You're a
tell you.
creature, you're something else.
Let me tell you what I just recently discovered. I was watching a documentary because I like to put things together.
Real
Because
quick, can I play researcher's comment?
yes, definitely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Researcher.
Greetings, Queens, Grand Rising, 222-raw.raw-222. OMniREADY. How are you doing today? Yes, we're moving with purpose, aren't we? All about the vibes. Big up, big up. Greetings from Jamaica. You know how we do.
Namaste. Namaste, dear
I'm gonna bring
one.
him up here.
Namaste. If you want to, that would be nice. Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate his frequency. We talk to each other almost every day on Telegram and Instagram.
I see he's live.
Oh,
Live right now.
okay, he's live. Okay. So the bottom line, what you were doing when you were grabbing the hand of your mother or your father, I was doing the same thing too. Because we are sensitive being, obviously what we're doing right now is speaking the truth. So that means we were knowing the truth, but we could not explain how come we knew that truth. How come we could feel that frequency, that there was something wrong about going to those places.
Why can we say in our hearts if this is true? Because we know it. We know it. That's how we, you know what I'm saying? Like what you just said right now, like how do we understand like what's the truth?
Because it's a frequency.
When we know it, it's a frequency.
It's a frequency. You don't have to explain it.
Love,
yes.
Right. Like and love. This is how I came to understand the frequency of love. The frequency of love is the real love, the self-love. You know, that every time that before having self-love, before understanding exactly what it is and how it's a thing, an actual thing, and not just a concept.
Yes.
You know, I did an unpacking here on stereo, which, you know, everything happens for a reason, and it was just my time. It was in February of this year with King Cooley, and it helped me. It was like a 5-hour conversation. Helped me to realize I lacked 100% in the area of self-love, and it manifested itself in my life as in the form of me not being able to take compliments from people.
Yes.
Genuinely.
Yes.
And how it felt. I had to admit this out loud, and I never admitted it to anybody, but the way that it would feel inside is like, oh, thank you, but I'm already being judgmental, like first on myself and then second on the person saying it. And this went on for years. And like I couldn't, and then after practicing that way of like thinking all the time, it manifested even harder in my adulthood life, where I cannot have a genuine conversation with another woman or female, because my tendency to think other things when receiving compliments and stuff, like, oh, it's coming from a different place, or they're just hating on me, or something like that, something I made up in my head. I trained my brain to think that way. So when it came to, you know, big upping another female, I did so out of like hate, out of hatred, out of like being a hater. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I found myself not wanting to be in the presence of women I felt like threatened by, but I liked them at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I think they were really cool and super like friendly, and I could probably be one of their friends if I really tried, but I couldn't be in the same presence as any female frequency that I felt like was either a challenge for me or threatened by their presence, and that's just what it came down to. And I never ever would have admitted that ever, but that's just the truth of it, you know. And so I figured out like that just comes from the place of lack in my own sense of self. And when I figured that out, and I dove right into the concept of self-love, and I just decided to find different ways to practice that, you know. And like I remembered what the shadow work that I was doing when I got sober 8 years ago. My sponsor, she had me do this exercise where I would write all my character defects out. I had like 17 character defects. So I would, you know, like liar or just the things that I did in my addiction, active addiction, that hurt people. All of these things, my behavior, you know. So it's like one of them was liar, one of them was judgmental, one of them was just all like these different behaviors. And like she would have me shuffle it face down, pick a card. Once I get that character defect, that's the defect that I would work on that day by doing the opposite of it. So if my card that I pulled would be like judgmental, then I would do the opposite of that every time I felt like doing that, which would be like to compliment them, even despite how I would feel, you know, and make it a point to actually do that action, not just think it in my head. And so if I got liar, obviously, like, you know, when I felt like habitually lying about something, which I did develop over time, I would not speak, or I would only speak the truth. But a lot of it was just not speaking because I had no idea what truth was, you know. So I would just not speak. If I felt compelled to lie about something, I just didn't speak. And so doing things like that has helped me to retrain my brain to get it into different frequency modes rather than fear-based, you know. And that helped me in a crazy short amount of time. I would think that would take like years in the making for someone who did this to themselves for like 30 plus years, the way I was thinking before. But within a couple months, I'm already like free from that bondage of myself, you know. And here I am, like the conversation with you right now, I would not be able to sit here. Not anything against you, it was because of me, like in my energy, wouldn't be able to sit properly around other energies that I looked at like as like higher than me, I guess you can say, or I admired them, or I enjoyed whatever it is that they did. Like I would always feel like I was like less than that. And so that's how it manifested.
That's what's happened when you don't receive love from the person the people, because it's two beings, right? Unless you went to an incubation place and you say, okay, give me some semen. But if you don't receive love from those beings, most likely you will grow up with a self-love problem. So because my daughters, they don't have that problem. I look at them and they don't have, like, I ask them, do you love yourself? They love themselves.
See, and it's strange too, because my parents, I know that they loved me. Obviously, they didn't, you know, they didn't abuse me or anything. I wasn't treated badly, but it did lack that nurturing sense where put it like this: if I was in choir or if I was in dance, you know how sometimes the moms of the team will somehow like participate in some way, do a little bit extra because that's their kids' team, you know. And so my mom would be the type that instead of showing up to anything, she would just give me the check that she donated this much, and that was her participation for the whole year. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't get the showing up to my events or to my competitions a lot. It was just like, oh, she donated this much, and so she already participated, and that would be it.
Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad that you did your self manifestation work on yourself. That's powerful. And that's what I advise everybody. That's why I'm going live. That's why I'm doing this TV show. It's been many years now. It's been since 2007. I started the show to stimulate people to love themselves. But I didn't say that. I said, I want you to see how beautiful you are, because I was learning of how beautiful I was myself. I did the show, not even realizing that the show was to assist myself too. And that's why I am what I am now, because I faced myself. Like I said to you, I didn't want to be on the front of the camera. Why? Because I hated myself. I didn't thought I was worth to be on the front of the camera to show myself, not realizing the universe was pushing me to love myself through forcing myself to be on the front of the camera, learn how to look at yourself and see how you look like, because we go on the front of the mirror. People that don't love themselves, we just take care of ourselves and we're like, okay, whatever. But when you love yourself and you go and face that mirror, it's like you're talking to another being, and you're like, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for still being alive after everything you've been through. Thank you for keeping me strong. Thank you for being so beautiful. Thank you for stimulating others to see their beauty. And that's why I'm here. That's what I've been doing for years because
One of the cards.
of that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the cards that I got a lot for maybe like, I want to say 2 weeks straight, it was strange, was, well, one of them was accountability, and the other one that I got a lot was jealousy. I always got that card pulled, so I had to practice like the opposite of that a lot. And it's like, how do you do that? And so I asked for another like way, what action can I do that would kind of like, put me there where I'm actually practicing the opposite of jealousy, and so she said, okay, when you see somebody winning, be happy for them like you just won, because that's you. That's an extension of you. And that if they're winning, that means you're also winning. So you have to bring yourself to a place where you're winning alongside, as if you were them. But do you get what I'm saying? Like she said, like, pray for those that you have resentment towards. Like, want for them what you want for yourself, and constantly only pray in that way, or meditate, or just like manifest only from that place of wanting for others, especially the ones that I didn't do too well with, like my brothers, my older brothers, which I have a phenomenal relationship with now after doing all of that work. My mom especially, I was praying for them, or just believing and wanting and sending a lot of frequency towards them and their lives the same way that I would want for my own. And that was coming from a place where I didn't think twice before not even caring about really having a relationship with them. But I knew that I had to make up for it, because my kids are being taken care of at my mom's house. My brothers were still living there at the time. Like, how can I move forward and get my kids back, and then not make amends with the people who are there for me, my family? Like, what? Because I felt like I was abandoned before. And it's like, at that point in time, like, really, it was the abandonment was my choice. It was my choice to feel that way, to think that way. Because I was no longer being abandoned. My mom, she came back into my life because of her grandkids. Whether it be because of her grandkids or because of me, it didn't really matter. She was in my life again, and so were my brothers because of their nephews and niece. And so I had to like look past that. Like, it's not even about me, like me involving myself too much. Now I'm not looking at myself and taking accountability. Now I'm just feeling like a victim again. So I had to like, just when I made my amends with them, I had to my sponsor had me write letters to them, which only admitted my fault, my side of the street, like my involvement in every situation that hurt them. And so that was the whole point of it, to point out what I was doing, and not to say anything that, well, that's how you made me feel. No, none of that. It was to give them their power back. That I had been like robbing them from this whole time, because they felt like failures when it came to me. And so I had to write these letters to them and let them know that I'm taking accountability for it, and that, please, like, this is not on you. I'm getting better, doing well. This is how I'm going to change from here on out, and this is why I will never do that ever again. And I would name at least 3 things that they can see me and my actions do, so that moving forward, it would make more sense, like, as to why this change in me is so important. Because I had already given them the letter, like, I'm acting this way now because remember what I said in the letter, and so it was like, it came full circle in that way. And it was like, I left it at that. I didn't want to like go off and explore because when you do the 12-step program, they say that you're supposed to write that letter or do some kind of work, shadow work, towards every single person you've ever double crossed. I'm like, how is that? I don't even remember who, but my sponsor told me, like, that's besides the point. People get so caught up on doing it so perfectly by the book that they end up just using again, and they, it's like they're giving themselves a reservation to fail, because it's not supposed to be perfect. It's just guidelines to like a new way of life. And so I really adopted like everything that worked for me. Like that exercises that she had me do, I was able to pass those exercises along to other women who came behind me who were getting sober after I had a year already. And like, you know, I had 2 panels. I held 2 different meetings like on throughout the week to speak about like my story like over and over and over again to like men and women who are just barely getting sober and they're in detox. And like to feel the energy exchange of a person who hears your story, all the shame and all the stuff that I had inside, but I'm telling it now. Someone's inspired by that. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? I was like, what? You know, and then so diving into frequency and like energy exchange really, really, really got me to know how real energy is when you would see like, you know, this person just stole from their mom and now they're here crying because they can relate to me. You know, or they just stole from their kids again for the last time, or some really bad, you know, they're in rehab, you know, and like so, and then I worked in that industry for a couple of years, and then finally now I'm a business partner with my mom, so we have homes that we take care of the intellectually disabled adults that no longer have family, to take care of them and stuff. So that's what we do.
That's
And it's
powerful.
even more rewarding, just because you see these men. We only help male individuals because the female individuals, like, I think my mom, her energy doesn't go well with the female individuals. So yeah, we've already tried that. It's all bad. So because but so the guys that we serve, that we help, you know, like they need help taking their medicine on time. You know, their intellectual capacity would be like one of our guys. He's 58, but his mind is measured to be like a 2-year-old. Or a 3-year-old, you know, so he needs a lot of help. Even just like changing several reminders, like he's a 2 or 3-year-old learning how to do something for the first time, but it's every day, you know, with him. And so he's just like a child. He's just like a kid, you know, and like so.
So this is your job. This is what you do. You care. You take care of them directly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hands on. And so what do you call it? We have the facility that they live in. And so that was my mom's business for a couple years, no, like 13 years before I got involved. And so now she's trusted me enough to last year hand over the company to me after she retired. So
wow.
And that's just what, you know.
So you have a team,
like,
right?
okay,
You have a
8
team
years
of
ago.
people working with you in that
Yeah.
building. Okay.
Yeah, it's a family business.
So you have to make sure that you have hired people that don't do anything wrong against those children when you have to leave them with them, correct?
Right. Well,
Okay.
they're adults, but they are like kids. But still, you know, abuse for intellectually disabled adults is very high.
I know, that's why I'm asking you that question, because I know
high.
it. Yeah.
It's very, very high. They just because of the Latterman Act in 1975, which closed down all of the warehouses that they would have, you know, intellectually disabled adults being warehoused, like treated like animals, you know, left in their own feces. And they're so you know about that. You know,
Of course. Remember, I am an advocate for the human rights, so I have to watch stuff that are the most despicable thing.
For sure. You know all about that.
Yes.
It was terrible. And like it's just like the children, you know, where you have an individual who otherwise cannot help themselves, whether or not because, you know, their mind isn't capable of helping themselves, literally. And so they need help with a lot of things, and then they're over here getting abused. And to hear about that, and then you see how the behavior of these guys, all of our guys have came out of a home that was very abusive for several years, like I would say like one of them was being abused for 20 years, another 15, like they just, you know, get treated like shit, and then nobody cares about them. And then they have these behavior plans that get written up from the licensed behaviorists that it's like a way for the team that's taking care of him, like for instance me and my staff, like it's a guideline for when they act a certain way. We have to document it and like just to prove that they're doing well under our care. And I'm looking at these behaviors and it's just like, okay, one of them says food stealing, one of them says like, you know, like when they're at the dinner table stealing each other's food like a kid. Another one says inappropriate sexual behavior because they're, you know, they're older and they don't have that kind of a lifestyle to that avenue. And so I would assume that just, being a human and a male, that these things are just going to manifest in inappropriate behavior. But, like, my point is that, like, all of the behaviors that they would list is just, like, copied and pasted to each one of theirs. And so it's not individualized, and it's generalized to give punishment. Like, not punishment where it's like a cruel punishment, but like a consequence, like they're doing something wrong by reacting in this behavior. When that's like to me, I look at this behavior plan and the policies under this behavior plan. Like, this is the like typical adopted way of program design that these facilities have, that like that the same category that we own. And I'm like, no, this is not cool, because why would you have to tell somebody that they're you have to like stay over here for a while, or sit down for now, like don't move around because you're on like a timeout or something. Like, sometimes you do have to treat them like a kid, because that's how they would understand. But like, if we I saw my staff, my auntie, because it's a family business, she was telling one of our guys to like stay seated like on the couch, because he kept on making noise. I'm like, why is he being so loud? Like, and the only reason why he was being loud was because he wanted to wear a different jacket. And it's like, people, they're like totally missing the frequency exchange happening, because as soon as I entered the room, he was screaming. The staff was getting like irritated, but I could feel that it wasn't that he wasn't in danger, and he wasn't mad at anybody. He just was frustrated because nobody could understand him, and then he was getting disciplined for that. And so I'm like,
It might be challenging. I
constantly.
know it is challenging. For the already taking care of
So,
children is challenging, so disabled, it's even more challenging. I
yeah.
know you have
And
courage to
so
do that,
I went
really.
back to school. Yeah. And I'm getting my bachelor's in applied behavioral science, but I am going to transfer to I want to transfer to a holistic university. I'm not sure which one yet, but my point in that is, when I get my degree, I do want to have I'm going to design like a holistic approach to the behavior modifications that they want to do, because with their behavior modifications, with the behavior plans, they send it to the psych doctor, and the psych doctor is like they have one for every home. You must have one, it's like a requirement. And so what does the psych doctor do? He just prescribes medicine to them all day long. And like, so as much as possible, when I see a different like marking in the chart for like acting up too much, I know that it's something else. It's not because they're bad people. Like, to me, it's silly to even think that, like, because of the frequencies that I can feel when I just walk around. And I understand that people don't sense that. They don't realize what things are. They just see the surface, And so I started to teach my mom about what it is that I know about, like, how the behaviors are really just something else. There's underlying issues that we're not meeting. So like, how can I write this report every year that they're getting everything that they need here, when they're really not? They're not even their underlying issues aren't even being taken care of. Like, one of our guys, like, he will act up because he doesn't get to go out as often. And he will act up. I'm like, the answer is he's bored. Let's go for a walk to the park or something. Like, it's so simple, but yet people want to turn to medicine and discipline for their behavior. It's like really sad that's like our adopted way of quality of life, giving quality of life care. It's like, you don't have quality of life when you're all drugged up by 8 o'clock and you're all woozy and you can't even, like, you're drooling on yourself already because of all the psych meds that you're on.
And how many children do you have in your care?
I have 4 of my own kids.
That I know. I'm talking about your job wise.
Yeah, we have four adults.
4
adult
adults.
kids. My daughter's so funny. She's like, okay, one of them, he likes to be called Cowboy because he's been called Cowboy his whole life, ever since he was a kid. So we call him Cowboy, and like, my daughter's like, is Cowboy an adult kid? I'm like, yeah, he's like an adult kid.
And what are their age? When you mean that you have 4 children, you already have 4 children on your own plus 4 disabled?
No, they're not my kids. They're the guys that we take care of.
Oh, so that's what you meant. You consider them as your children, but you only have what?
Yeah.
1 daughter? No?
Yeah. Well, I have 3 boys and 1 girl.
But
my job,
yes.
we have 4 adult males who are like, their mind capacities are like right around the same age as my kids. It's strange, but that's just how it works out.
And what are the
like-
age of your children?
So I have a 15, 16-year-old, and then an 8 and 9-year-old.
Wow.
And yeah, they paired up. They paired up.
Mine is 11 and 12. They following each other.
See.
Yes. So it's like
Yeah,
twins.
it's like
Yeah.
twins.
It's
We
like
basically
twins.
have twins.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's
So
beautiful, though. I like it when they're close like that in age.
it is better because like that they have friend, they have somebody to be with than when it's like
Yeah, they
because
can
with
experience life together.
yes, because me and my brother we were 8 years different, so he was doing different things than I
Oh.
was doing, and my sister was 8 years difference younger, so it was very
Oh my
challenging.
gosh,
Yeah.
really?
She took 8 years
Oh,
between
wow.
the three of us. Yeah, so it was very challenging to be close to each other.
Wow. The synchronicity of that.
Yes, I know the numbers, huh? You see that, huh? You know numbers because you like numbers. So yes. There is one person that talks about the mosquito earlier, and he said that he also hate mosquitoes because the mosquito they kill his dog by giving her heartworm to the dog. So he doesn't like mosquito heartworm. I didn't know that a mosquito could give heartworm to a dog. I didn't know that at all.
Oh.
Yes, and that he got
I
bitten.
guess that, okay.
And he got bitten too, and he feels that there is something in his blood. He doesn't know if those are the engineered or the whatever mosquito, but that's what the person say in one chat. And the other thing was, oh yes, it was about the video about Kill Bill. But people can go to his website and watch that video by themselves. But it's a video that express on how they're doing everything to kill the mosquito, not only in Africa, because it's really like a lot of them over there, but in Japan. So let me read the latest information. I think it was in Japan. They use it.
Hi, Susie. Susie's in the house.
Ah, in Namaste, Susie, but she was here earlier.
Were you? Oh, no, we were on shows. Oh, yeah, she was in the messages.
Yes.
And the previous show.
Yes, she was. That's what I remember because I heard her voice, your sweet, calming voice. So you are welcome,
Most of the
dear.
time when I see Susie in the room, I just call you right away.
I know, I do the same thing to you too.
I know.
You're not there. I'm like, Barbara, where are you?
Hey, Charm.
So I'm gonna go to the last information about that video. Let me go. The video is 4 minutes. So let me turn that off.
We study ways.
What is this
So
video?
this video is a video that you can find on the Gates website. He has a website called Gate. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you exactly. It's called Mosquito Week, and it's by only on Gates Note. So if you go find Gates Note, GATES, it's on my screen right now. Everybody can see it on YouTube and Facebook. And no, Facebook probably they don't see it, but everybody that's on the live, on the other D Live and Hitch, you can see it. It says only on Gates Note. So GATES and Note, like a note, and OTES. And he has 2 videos. The first video is very nefarious because there is a being, like I said. What is the name again of that being that we said the name earlier? You know, the one that killed people that's supposed to come and collect the dead people. What is his name? What is his name? The Grim Reaper. And when you come closer to the Grim Reaper, it becomes the entire body is made out of mosquito. That is video that Gate put on his website. And that video, goes closer and closer and closer, and then the Reaper, you can see his face, and it goes inside his mouth, and is made out of mosquito. Mosquito are swarming. Is made out of mosquito, and then the end, you see a mosquito coming toward you, and the mosquito is pointing their needle toward the screen and make it look like they're gonna poke you and take your blood. And the video the first video that he has finished by "Still the World's Deadliest Killer." When Kill Bill speak like that, I don't like it. He says "Still the world's deadliest killer," talking about the mosquito. And then there is a documentary that is like 3 minutes talking about how in Africa they are doing everything to eradicate the mosquito in multiple ways. So you should go in my Telegram. It's in my Telegram channel. I shared it also on the group with a researcher. It's right there. That video is right there. I have edited it, put it all of it together, and added a slide at the end that says this. And I'm going to read it out loud. A biotech firm funded by Bill Gates has released 150,000 genetically modified mosquito in the USA to curb mosquito breeding and gain control over the spreading of disease like dengue and malaria. But right under that slide, it says, also read, what if we use mosquito to vaccinate people? Japan actually did. Take a farm base in so it's Abingdon, UK has already tested this mosquito in Brazil, Malaysia, excuse-moi. I was going to speak in French. That's why come on, Yale. Panama and the Cayman Island, but hadn't received regulatory approval. Again, with their approval, like they did with that jab, like you're saying, like emergency, right? So next they're gonna do, we have to do that emergency thing because of the mosquito. Watch what they're gonna do. So receive regularly approval for the US, but it has finally received it now. The mosquito species in question is the name of it is the Aedes aegypti. Look at the way they use ancient Egyptian name that comprise 4% of the mosquito population in the Keys. A chain of tropical island is in the south tip of the Florida. So go and look at the video in my Telegram channel. It's right there for you. And it's talking about everything that they're doing with mosquito right now. So that was to make sure that I gave that with me that was talking about the mosquito, and I tell where you can find that video. It's on the Gate Notes website. I don't know if they're still there. I don't like to go to his website. I don't want to give him numbers of viewers. I'm not going to his website. But this is a video that I found online. The two video was in this different group on Telegram, and then the slide, I already had them before. So I edited the video, put everything together. It's in my Telegram channel. My Telegram channel is Manifest for MMG. So Manifest for TV, or you can type OMniREADY. There you go. So what else are we going to talk about there?
It's coming to a wind down.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. And there is two bubbles.
Time to say thank you so much. We're gonna get to these two bubbles right now.
Yes.
Oh, it's Jen Rich.
Good afternoon, ladies. I've been listening to you since you came on. I was actually watching your live feed on Instagram because I found it really cool to be able to hear you guys talking and actually see you.
Dope.
I wanted to suggest, so there's a documentary that I saw that I think both of you would appreciate.
Ooh, I like that. Come on.
It's called From Babylon to America.
Oh yeah, you suggested that before.
And normally I wouldn't give up the end of the documentary, but it describes how the papacy is the Antichrist.
Okay, so I find one that's called Babylon to America, a prophecy movie, and then there is another one, Babylon to America. So I'm going to type Babylon to America, see what's going to come out. So it came out 3 years ago. It's 2 hours and 03 minutes. From Babylon to America, the prophecy movie by School for Prophet Attila Kakarot. So I will look at that. I will. It's going to be watched by me for sure. For sure.
So I thought that might help with your understanding of why the Catholic Church has that very low frequency. I always felt it too as a child. It's crazy. very crazy.
We all felt it. That's the thing. We all knew
Yeah.
it, but because we were children, and you remember the way we were growing up before, our parents is, you're a child, you don't know, you're not an adult, shut up. Me, I did reverse with my family. I said everything that I hated the way I grew up, I said, I'm going to listen to my children. They are the one who's going to guide me. And by doing so, that's where I am in my life. We are respecting each other. We can speak to each other. My daughters told me themselves, your mother hurt us. If I didn't raise my children in free way like that, to tell them you can speak, you can express yourself, I will never, ever have them to come and tell me that my own mother have hurted them. So I am actually glad to have reversed that principle of telling the children, no, you don't know nothing. No, they know more than us. They just don't know how to express it because we don't allow them to express it. So since she shared that documentary, I will share another documentary, but you cannot find it on YouTube. You have to go to my Telegram channel. I'm not doing that for you to go to my Telegram channel. That's not my purpose here. But it cannot be shared anywhere because it has been banned online. It's a documentary on, because she talked about how, the church and everything and what's happened. It's a documentary. So let me click on that and file. And you will see it's a documentary about the Jewish religion and what they've been doing for thousands of years to children, and why they've not accepted to certain country, because they were everywhere they were going, they were kidnapping children and bleeding them to death. So that's another documentary. And then there is another documentary that shows what Muslims are doing, and which are the three pillars of religion that are manifesting the child trafficking and human trafficking #1 in the world. So go and watch those documentary. This one, it is called, so I'm going to put pause right here. It's called Jewish Zionist Ritual Sacrifice is a tradition that has been handed down through the centuries, perhaps older than religion itself. This documentary will bring an honest glimpse into the matter with a depth and fair examination that will make most skeptics into true believers. And believe me, dear, I grew up in Judaism. I was with them. So me too, I was feeling like you. When I was going to the synagogue, I was like, there is something that I don't like here. I don't like. And then plus in Judaism, you 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 are being asked as women to sit in a specific way, to be in a specific. You cannot be around men. You are being called like impure. When you have your period, it's the worst time of your life because you can't sit anywhere in your home. It's atrocious to be raised into that religion because you feel less than as a woman. So I was always asking questions, always getting in trouble with the rabbi. The rabbi one day asked me to get naked, and he said, if you get naked on the front of me, I will teach you about your body. And that's when my mother got into the middle of that, and then that rabbi got handled, and he was abusing children. Go figure. Same thing like the Christianity. And then with the Muslim, there is no religion in the Muslim religion, there is no scripture, there is no laws that protect a man to marry any age of a little girl. They can marry any age that they want. So when you look into all of this, then you understand why the three of them are fighting for Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is true. It's a place, a sacred place, like any sacred place, like the Buddhists that are in the Himalaya. The earth has 7 chakra, just like our body have 7 chakra, and they know this, and they utilize the power of the greed of that earth and us to be able to stay alive. But they're falling apart. They are falling apart. So that's the documentary that I advise you to watch. In my Telegram channel, I post very raw information. So only go to my Telegram if you can handle it. If you can't handle, don't complain to me because you will be booted out. That's all I have to say.
Yes. Thank you so much. Susie, did you want to say anything? Or if you two wanted to stay on, I do have to get off though. Right now.
No, you guys were amazing, and thank you for sharing your story so deeply, Rara.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There was a bit to miss because I had to go to work for a little bit, but I'm definitely going to go fill myself in on it. But yeah, thank you just very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you. Thank you to all the listeners. You guys are amazing.
Well, we still have
And
200. We have 220 people still listening. So thank you for all of you
Right.
listening. Thank you for the gift.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing the live. And thank you for participating on sharing the truth with us. We are here
Yes.
speaking our heart and mind with integrity to guide you to do the same. And remember to learn about your human rights. Very, extremely important. They call the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They were made in Paris, where I was born in 1948, to stop the being that created World War II, that now creating World War III, silent genocide. So please be curious about your laws. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Roro,
much.
for being with
Yes,
me.
thank you.
And also for
Yes,
being honest about your life and sharing your experience, because you're guiding others that they can be powerful and also come out of their experience that was traumatic. And thank you, Fisiu, for being here too.
Thank you so much. Bye, ladies. Love
Bye
you.
bye. Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste. So we are done here, guys. That was a beautiful, beautiful live. I'm very happy about that. So I gave you all the information about what you can go and watch. We'll be coming back live soon. I don't know when. We don't decide a time. That decided that time with Woro because she asked me to go live with her 2 months ago. I think it was in March, and we finally did it. So just go to my channel. Just go to my YouTube channel. So let me share that right now with you. Let's have this window shared. And go and watch the documentary that was advised right now. Very important. The documentary that she said is From Babylon to America, the prophecy movie. I'm going to watch it. That's what I'm going to do as soon as I finish this live. Again, my video. My website is manifest4tv.com. Manifest like manifestation. MANIFEST. Number 4, tv.com. And then also my link tree, where you can have all my link to find out where I am. You can find my Telegram, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Twitch, my all the channel that I have online. It's on my link tree, linktr.ee/OMniREADY, or just tap OMniREADY on Google or on DuckDuckGo. It's better. And then if you type Manifest for TV or type Yael Reed and OMniREADY, you will find everything about me, and probably the link tree will come up too. So it was a pleasure to have been with you. Thank you for your presence, and I will see you soon. Definitely next Monday. I forgot to tell you, yes. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m., I am live on TV at 8:30 in New York City. So you have to look at in your time, in your city, to be able to know it. Eastern Standard Time for Manifest for TV in New York City. Every Monday, it is live. That's the live TV show. The live home Manifest for TV. I call it the manifestation, home manifestation. It has no time. So I will decide when I go live. Just come and see. I will be here. Bye-bye, MMG. So let's close this live here and stream. We're going to end the stream with the closing, as always. Namaste, magnificent manifest being. I am OMniREADY, your guide on Manifest for TV. This show is about you, all about us and how we think. As our thought becomes our word, furthermore, it becomes our manifestation. This is where you'll find guidance of how to be completely. Stimulate your ability to think, manifest in judgment-free frequency every Monday, 8:30 p.m. on MNN Lifestyle Channel and live stream all over the world. Come and transcend your mind to reveal your power. Keep it simply simple as nature is. Kisami always.